your go-to car show. Along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeff Zekin, I'm Don Armstrong. So glad that you could join us today. We are live and remote, once we get the bugs worked out, live and remote from Woody's Waterfront Car Show down in San Leon, Texas, right there along Galveston Bay. And we're going to be going to the boys down there at this usually, and I haven't really talked to them about the actual car show itself. I know that there were 100 reservations for people to actually get into the car show, yep. And that was the max. So for 100 cars, and the weather is absolutely
stunning,
beautiful today,
as it was last year. I mean, it's clear blue skies, wonderful temperature. Today, temperature is going to be real good.
And those 100 slots filled up real quick.
Yes, they did. They've been sold out for quite some time. But, you know, based on what we were going through last week at this time, with the storm coming in, the weather was turning bad. Sunday, it was a complete washout. And then for 4 days straight, it was ugly.
It was a cone of uncertainty.
A cone of uncertainty. Jeff Zekin, ladies and gentlemen, what have we done without him all these many years?
Actually, the in-wheel time cone head.
My viewership has doubled. I now have
Kath
two.
Is watching.
I now have two.
Yeah, got two people watching. We absolutely love it.
See, somebody on social media keeps on saying the show needs more Jeff.
More Jeff.
And now we have it.
Well, we're truly thrilled that you got a chance to join us today, because we really have no clue what the day is going to bring. We are going to have, well, we hope, we're going to have lots of interviews from the actual event down there, the Woody's Waterfront Car Show. It's a cruise-in for the most part, although last year there were a couple of trailers and a couple of guys trailered their cars in. Yeah, but that's really not what it's all about.
But it's a judged show.
It is a judged show, and there's trophies and all of that. Yeah.
He's got 35 awards he gives out over different categories, including Best of Show.
And by the way, we didn't mention that it's not only in San Leon, Texas, but it's the location of Topwater Grill.
There you go.
And it sits right on the point at San Leon out there.
Out on the jetty.
Out on the jetty.
You get on 518 and you go till you hit water.
So we have to tell you this little story before we get into the car part of our show today.
Story time.
So Mr. Mars and Mr. Ainsley went down there to check and make sure everything was going to work just right, which it isn't. But it did then. But while they were there were a couple of women that were sitting right there next to the water crying.
Oh.
And we had really no clue what was going on down there. And as it was related to us, as it turns out, there was a man that apparently decided to go swimming that didn't really know how to swim and drowned. And apparently his head was bobbing. I'm sorry, it's not funny, but it's funny. His head was bobbing in the water. He had drowned. He was dead, and the two women were out there crying. And while we were there, the police showed up to investigate. And of course, it all of a sudden became a crime scene.
Yep.
So the crime scene tape goes out, and the boys had to move away from the crime
Well, isn't it anywhere in-wheel time goes as a crime scene?
Yes.
I think that's anywhere in-wheel time goes, it's a crime scene.
Well, it truly is. But, I mean, it was sad that the man drowned, but, you know.
Yep.
Things happen.
Gave us something to talk about.
That's right. A great way to start off the show.
There you go.
So while we wait for the boys to gather their thoughts and get everything all settled up and working correctly, David calls me, our chief engineer, calls me this morning at 8:35. I said, "Where are you, David?" "Oh, I'm just walking out of the house."
It's supposed to be there at 8.
Yeah. We go on the air at 9:30. Yeah, I know, it's no big deal. I got this handled. Guess what? He doesn't have it handled.
He's got it handled. He just hadn't figured it out yet.
That's exactly right. Well, I had something that I wanted to share, and this will be a perfect time to do it. So there was a story that was written here just a little while ago. It was either from Hemmings or from Haggerty. I don't recall which one, but at any rate, I've just given them credit. And the story is titled "Say What?" Watt, W-A-T-T.
Oh, like voltage.
10 famous retro car audio partnerships.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. So I've kind of embellished the story just a little bit, and I'm going to go through this. So partnerships, meaning car radio companies together with a manufacturer.
Right. Like GM and Bose have been partners for quite some time.
Yeah, that's the first one on the list. Delco, Bose Audio, and they were coupled up with General Motors, and still are today.
Still are today, and it's a great sound system. It doesn't have the power volume, but it's got great sound.
Oh, okay. Yes, I totally agree. Another one. Ford Motor Company.
Harman Kardon?
JBL.
JBL, okay.
JBL.
Somebody did something with Harman Kardon, too, and I can't remember.
Well, I thought that was home stereo stuff.
It is. But
let me finish the story.
Okay. Well, we're trying to help you here.
Well, I know that, but I've got the list. Jeez.
Bang & Olufsen
this is kind of like being married. But
the sex is better.
Yeah, there isn't any.
Oh.
It's just like being married. There isn't any sex.
Oh.
Send your comments to
info at In-Wheel Time.
So the Ford JBL premium sound system, that all came to be back in about 1980. Delco Bose, 83. I didn't know that. Thought it was earlier than that.
And I actually think it started at Cadillac.
Now, here's one for you. You ready? Lexus. You know what the radio system was? Nakamichi.
Oh.
Well, that makes sense.
I've heard of that, but I didn't know that was...
Yeah.
Wasn't that also the name of the tower in, what was the movie, the Christmas movie with, oh gosh, I can't even remember his name, that they blew the Nakamichi Tower up? Remember,
Sorry.
What was that movie?
I know what you're saying.
With Bruce Willis.
It was a Christmas
Towering
movie.
Inferno?
No.
Okay, well, anyway. So let's stay on track, shall we, please? Bugatti.
Oh.
Now, should be right off the top of your head. You should know this immediately.
Bugatti?
Uh-huh.
No idea.
Burmester.
I've
never heard of them in my life, but
I thought that was a beer.
Burmester. Burmester. All right. BMW, Harman Kardon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You knew that you knew.
I knew somebody had Harman Kardon.
Yeah.
I just couldn't remember who.
How about Chrysler?
Oh, okay.
What was the name of
Timex?
Timex? Really?
Oh, that's a watch.
That is a watch.
Casio.
Nope. Infinity. Infinity.
Okay.
Infinity. 1987 for that one.
Wow.
Audi.
Don't know.
Bang & Olufsen.
And that's
or B&O, like the railroad.
I thought that was a Swedish. They were made. It was out of Sweden. The coolest thing about Bang & Olufsen was they had a record player. If you remember the days of record players, you and I and Jeff do.
I still have one.
And it didn't have the swing arm with the needle. It had the needle worked on a bar from the top.
Yeah.
It was the most unique looking record
like
player.
a screwdriver.
Right. Pretty cool.
It was. Yes, I do remember. Okay. AMC. Remember that car company way back when?
American Motors.
Would you like to guess? AccuSound by Jensen.
Jensen, really?
Jensen.
Okay. I had my Jensen Triax in the back window of my Cutlass.
Jensen Triax.
That's right. The 6x9 triaxles.
Oh, I thought it was a gang, the Triax. Leather jackets and cigarettes rolled up.
Absolutely.
There was probably a little bit of that, too.
Here's another one for Chrysler. This is a kind of a latecomer here. Beats by Dr. Dre.
Well, that works because that's a pretty well-known sound system out there, and it's,
but that's more modern. That's more
very modern. Very modern, yeah.
Subaru, Macintosh Labs.
Okay.
Remember Macintosh?
I still remember Macintosh, yeah.
And then there's a bunch of other ones, sideliners here. Anyway, so Don had his 70s list. I just sat, I thought, okay, I can come up with some.
Pioneer.
How about those aftermarket radios that you used to?
About that,
Well, when we were off the air, he doesn't know about this.
No,
so,
he doesn't.
The aftermarket radio systems.
AudioVox, Pioneer.
Well, hold on.
Don't get ahead of you. Well, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head.
I'm going to put.
I added one.
He added one.
AudioVox, yeah.
Okay. So I came up with Craig.
Yep, yeah, Craig, for sure.
You could buy them at like Walmart, Kmart, those places. How about Kenwood?
Yep. Well, Kenwood's still out there.
I didn't say that they were gone away. I'm just saying that back in the 70s, you could buy Kenwood radios for your car.
They cross over to the home side, too.
Correct.
Panasonic.
Panasonic, yep.
Pioneer.
Well, Pioneer was that was the one everybody aspired to have. What was the other one? It was a German one.
Blaupunkt.
Blaupunkt.
It's on
Blue
the
chip.
Yep.
I actually bought a Blaupunkt and put it in my 1975 Chevrolet Monza, the one that had that.
Double the value of the car.
Well, they stuffed that no horsepower V8 in the hood, under the hood, and you could not change the spark plugs without taking the wheels off of
Well,
it.
you do know the Monza platform was a derivative of the Vega.
Thank you.
Right. And I had a 77 V6 that I blew up.
There
In a
you go.
Monza?
Well, speaking of things that are blown up, we'll get back to the radios in a moment. Here's the king of blowing them up.
There you go. King blew
yeah.
up Conrad.
That's right.
My never-ending Ford Transit trilogy.
Yes, so and we'll talk about that too. So how about a Jensen radio?
Oh, I remember
yeah,
Jensen
yeah.
very well, yeah.
And then Delco Bose.
Right.
JVC.
JVC, they're still in business.
JBL.
They're still in business.
Craco. Jeff came up with that this morning.
I didn't
Craco
remember.
radios.
I remember Craco, but I don't remember.
That was probably a Kmart brand,
Yeah.
but yeah. And then AudioVox you mentioned.
AudioVox.
Now, those are the ones that I could remember from the 70s.
And if you can remember any others that are out there in Facebook land or YouTube land, jump on Facebook and tell us. We'll be glad to add
to
them
finish
to the
up
list.
this segment, I have to tell you that I thought, okay, well, I happen to have what appears to be an 80s Jc Whitney catalog.
This is cool.
And he still orders stuff from
he
it.
does.
Yes.
The prices are a little different, but he still orders stuff.
Isn't that
from
the original Amazon?
Yeah, that probably.
Yeah, probably, yeah, very much
So
so.
I thought, okay, well, they've got to have some. None of them have any names. There are no names, no brand names on here. It's, these are all cassettes, cassette stereos, okay?
Now you got to go back to the 8-track.
Well, and I did look at that to find out about 8-tracks. I Googled that. And that 8-tracks actually started back in the 60s.
Yes.
I was not aware of that. Early 60s.
Yeah, it surprised me.
I didn't realize it was early 60s.
Yeah.
I thought it was more like mid, like
No.
65,
and
66.
then along came the cassettes.
Right.
And that was actually the mid to late 60s. I didn't realize that.
Do you know back in the late 50s, very early 60s, they actually had a phonograph in a car?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I've actually seen that.
Yeah.
Yes, and I believe it was it a DeSoto? Yeah, I saw that.
Chrysler was the first.
At
Chrysler
the
was the first.
Chrysler Museum, I saw this car.
They were high end.
And it had a tissue dispenser, and it also had a record player over by the passenger side. You'd pull it out on a drawer, kind of looking thing. So anyway,
Neat.
I just
I
thought
don't know
that
how
that
you
was
could
fun.
listen to that in Houston.
I don't have no clue.
Skip and jumble.
That's
Well,
exactly right.
You make your license plate holder vibrate.
Okay.
That's
Well, my 70 model Rally 350's got a factory 8-track in it, so I knew it was back then at
A
least.
factory 8-track.
Yeah, factory 8-track. Little thing hangs down under the dash.
I remember. And if
but it
you
was
remember
factory.
correctly, Jeff and I were talking about this. Some of those 8-tracks were huge.
Yeah.
Great, big, humongous pieces of metal that you would bolt up underneath the dash.
the face fit the dash in that particular make model, but behind the dash was huge. It was like a bread box with all the electronics and things put in.
So there's our little review of the radios, stereos, and 8-tracks and cassettes. Thought that you'd like it.
Got the boys.
Really? Well, we're going to try to go to them, but we're going to take a little quick break here. So we invite you to stay tuned because we're going to be right back once we get the boys established.
As America gets back on the road, a lot of things have changed, but not the need for drivers to be safe. With that in mind, it's time to review our safe driving checklist. First, you're in your car.
Check.
You're sober.
Check.
You're wearing your seatbelt.
Check.
Your phone is put away.
Check.
Great. Make sure you follow the speed limit. And remember, law enforcement is enforcing traffic safety laws in our community to save lives. Paid for by NHTSA.
Advance Auto Parts and CarQuest present the Gary Merrill Memorial Pro Modified Race with a purse-busting $7,000 to the winner. Saturday night, September 26th at Houston Motorsports Park. Gates open at 5. The commemorative Air Force flyover and racing at 6. Wear your mask. We've got social distancing and sanitizer. Enjoy dollar hot dogs and dollar beer. Advance tickets online at NASCARHouston.com. Saturday night, September 26th. Gates at 5. Racing at 6. Houston Motorsports Park. The $7,000 Gary Merrill Pro Modified Race. Bring the kids. Well, as usual, like we typically do on this show, we're never ready. It's kind of like showing up late to the party or the dance or whatever it is. And
then going home
and I mentioned to you that David called me at 8:35 and said he was walking out the door. Oh, we got this. Everything is going to be just fine. No problem. Let's go live now to San Leon, Texas, Woody's Waterfront Car Show. And Mr. Mars is down there. And I don't know whether they can hear us or whether they have any clue whether we're on the air or not. But, we're going to attempt to do this, Mr. Mars.
Hi, Mike.
What's up? How you doing today?
Well, we're doing actually better than you guys are down there. So, yeah, God. It's
I find that hard to believe.
Well,
we got over 100 cars sitting out here that, you're going to get to see them.
Well,
We'll share with you.
Well, please do. We would like a little walk-around tour. The audio really sucks, but it goes hand in hand with what we do here. So let's take a look around.
Great. What would we do if it was good?
Well, that's true. Looks like my car sitting over there to your left.
That was a C7,
I just saw that.
but close. Oh, there's the whole bevy of Corvettes to your right.
Anytime you want to go ahead and talk, you just go right ahead.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that.
Or would you like us
nice.
to do the play-by-play from here, or what?
Yeah, we could do the play-by-play from here if they don't want to.
Yeah, you can do the play-by-play from there.
We're going to do the play-by-play from here. Okay, fine.
Yeah, the white one's kind of a custom piece, huh?
Yeah,
That's
let's see that white Corvette. Let's see the front of that white Corvette.
Yeah, show the grill. Yeah, very custom piece.
The Kenwood down here on the grill?
Yeah.
Looks like a Mako shark.
Yeah, it's a very customized C2 with a set of C3 wheels on it. Louvered hood. How cool is that? That's a different animal there.
Yeah.
I always love the side pipes on Corvettes.
Can you vent louver fiberglass?
You have to make it.
Okay, well, continue on.
There's another beauty. Boy, this is the whole vet contingent you're in there amongst, huh?
I should have been down there and done this.
Yes, you should have. We trust you with the technology.
Yeah, don't trust me with anything.
Oh, and look at the C7 with the gull wing doors and nice little C4. That's something different.
Nice. Beautiful.
And then a C4. Is that a ZR1, that C4, or is that a tune port? Go show the red C4 in front of you. Go show under the hood. And let's see what engine's in that puppy. Yep, that's a tune port.
That's nice.
What's the difference between a tune port and direct? Well,
tune port, that intake manifold tells you what engine it's in.
Yeah, but
in C4s, they started with a Crossfire, and they had two throttle body injection systems that were there, which really was very ineffective. And then the next generation, they went to a tune port, which is much more effective.
Yeah.
And that being a tune port. Yeah, that's a nice looking car.
It's how the fuel is
inserted. Is that an early 90s?
Yeah, that's probably a 90
ish.
4?
Yeah.
86.
An 86.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the because 84 was the first year for the C4, so that'd be, and I think that's the Crossfire only was there for one.
I had an 88. Just saying.
I love the Caddy. Is that gorgeous?
Oh man, there it is.
Boy, and isn't black so hard to do on those big, huge, flat surfaces? And they did a nice job.
How about that hood?
It's got a scoop on the hood.
How about that hood?
Oh, and look at the side pipes on it too.
It's going away, trust me.
Y'all are after my heart.
Because it's going away.
Landau roof.
It's somebody putting it out there. It's got to have to come off. It's Cadillac on it. Yeah.
There you go.
Any
Nice.
sci-fi proof. That's serious. So
So it's just the way I bought it, so I haven't had time to.
And that's good placement there by the water.
Yeah, the side pipes that just burn the hair off your legs when you get in and out of it.
If you have any hair on your legs.
But it'll only do it once. That's nice.
It's got the electronics, so you basically floorboard the thing and pull this little trigger, and it washes down the cylinder walls with gasoline until it makes enough to come out here and light flames out the exhaust. Somehow I just don't think that's good on a motor that's like 60 years old, you know. I mean,
Yeah, but you could cook hot dogs and make s'mores with it while you're going down the highway.
yeah, well, we don't use the flamethrower much, so I think I'm going to eliminate the side pipe.
Very unique. Very unique.
Yeah, that's definitely different. That's definitely different. How cool is it?
Well, I don't know why the guy didn't do the back one the same way. But,
and it does have a Cadillac engine in it. Is that a 500?
Oh my gosh!
Oh, yeah.
It's got an alligator. It's got an alligator seat.
Holy cow! Check that out.
He must have run it over, had the side pipes. Now he's got an alligator. So
Yeah, and you cook the alligator meat, skin it, put it on the seats, cook the meat with the side pipes.
Dude, that is the coolest looking interior. It's red and tanned hide.
So what year is that?
That's
it's 1967.
I was going to say 67. You can tell by the headlight configuration.
67.
Some useful modifications, the radiator upgrade. It's been converted to 134A. Underneath it, everything's been completely done. Disc brakes and dual pot master cylinder. The thing, believe it or not, the 6,000-pound beast had drum brakes on the front at one time.
Oh, and a single bowl master cylinder. Yeah.
Yeah, this rocket hurling down the road, it's at 70, 80 miles an hour, and drum brakes probably wasn't that great of an idea these days.
Yeah, you got to plan ahead to come to a panic stop.
Where in Houston do you live?
Where in Houston do you live? I live right down the street here in Bay Cliff. I got a little hot rod shop. I got one of my other cars blown apart, and I had to buy this off my buddy's brother because I needed something cool to drive for a while I was building a 65 Buick with a $45,000 just in parts I got in that.
Wow.
That is definitely a unique ride. Let's see what else you got out there, Mars.
Yeah.
And that's one of the beautiful things. Oh, what year is that? 70?
72. I thought it was a 71, but it's 72, and I have learned that there's a way to tell the difference. And Chris Lepre, right? If it was Lepre, it would be French, but it's Italian. So, anyway, this is his car, his 72 Trans Am. I'm going to let him tell us about it. All right, what we have here is a 1972 Trans Am. It's only 486 horsepower for the year, 1,286 cars. It's an AC car, original AC car. It's an electronic rear defogger, and it has a console delete, which is pretty rare. Again, to tell the differences in the cars, if we look at the front of the grill, 72s have honeycomb. It's a year only. 71s would have your small squares. 70 would have your small squares, and 73 would have your large, what they call A cranes. That's how you can tell it's a 72. It is the matching numbers, 455, HO, 4-speed. It's a monkey. That's the rock crusher. It's got the rear white interior. Only about 10% of the cars are built with a white interior. The dash has never been restored in the car. The steering wheel is original to the car. All the plastic is original to this vehicle.
And is that Lucerne blue?
It's Lucerne blue with the white interior, what they call the tuxedo car.
How beautiful is it? Yeah, gorgeous car.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty. It needs a lot, but it's still pretty.
Bet you it goes like stink.
It goes. I wish I had a couple extra gears, unfortunately. Being a 4-speed versus a 6-speed would be a big difference in the car. So the name of the car is my mistress. So that's the wife. She doesn't get the ride in it that often, so she does more now. Cars are originally from New York, back in Connecticut for about 12 years. We just moved down here. I still have the Connecticut plates on it.
How did it get out of Connecticut without rusting?
Yeah. The whole underneath of the car is powder coated in polyurethane with a sprayed M bed liner, dyed the GM factory colors. So
that's how
it'll never rot underneath. So had to do that because salt in Connecticut is really bad and they rust fast.
Yeah, I know the small black back glass cars have a real tendency to puddle in that bottom corner and rust out pretty bad.
That's a unique stripe.
It's all original. Yeah, all original sheet metal, but the trunk fan. The trunk fan had 2 little holes in it, so we replaced it like pencil eraser tip size. So that was the only thing that we ended up replacing. Beautiful. It was a little thin, so we figured, let's get it out of there from something there.
Beautiful car. Very nicely done.
All right, gentlemen. Well, we're going to take a quick break here, and we will be back with you guys in just a couple of minutes here at the top of the hour. But in the meantime, what we need to do is we need to do a car review. And I believe that Mr. Zekin has our pre-owned car of the week. So we're just going to let you go for it, Jeffrey. I know that I kind of caught you off guard there. I didn't mean to. But
not a problem. Not a problem.
But at any rate, yes. So Jeff is going to give us a review of
2015 Nissan Altima.
Very popular car.
Very popular car, and I like this car. My daughter actually has a 14, but I did review a 15, and they're very similar. They're very comparable in the design, and they're very comparable in the engine makeup and everything. So, and of course the transmission, the CVT, which is the continuous variable transmission. We all know that. We do now. It's a neat vehicle. It's you see a lot of them on rental car lots. You go to the airport, rent a car, you get a Nissan or like Honda and that capability of the vehicle. And it's more of a mid-size vehicle. Came with 2 engine options on this, and it came with a 2.5 liter, which is 182 horsepower, about 180 foot-pounds of torque. And then you had the 3.5 liter, which the one I reviewed, and of course my daughter has the V6, the 3.5 also, which is 270 horsepower, 251 on the foot-pounds of torque. Mileage, obviously you're going to get a little bit better mileage on the 4-cylinder than you are on the 6-cylinder, depending on your foot, the right foot side of it. The 4-cylinder is combined 31, and the 6-cylinder combined 26. Good interior. It is kind of tight for taller, larger stature folks in the back. The interior is pretty solid, and on a vehicle that's used, if you take care of it, you're going to get the tight fit, finish, and things in the vehicle on the interior. A lot of times you get rattles, nickels, and dimes, and things like that on the vehicle, but they stay pretty solid. Now,
do you not have pictures of this?
You know, I do, and I didn't push the button. But here we go. I've only got a few. Thank you.
That's okay. I just thought that you had
super popular car.
It is a super popular car, and of course, with the there's several models of this too. There's an S, there's an SL, and there's an SVT. My daughter has the SVT, and what she did is very similar to this. This is a 15. She put the spoiler on the back. They do have an optional sunroof on it as well. So this is
considered a midsize.
I would consider it a midsize, yes. Mm-hmm. Now the interior, we get back to that. You've got the center pod, which all the vehicles back, in the 2000s and up to now with the center pod. I really like this configuration. You can get it, the newer models, 17s, 18s, 19s, and so on. You can get them with paddle shifts and things of that nature. So that's really cool to have. There it is again. All good reach from the driver. You got the sunroof options. It's just one size, which is good. And then, of course, we're back to the interior where you can get paddle shifts again. Good roomy up front for the leg room. The back, not so much, like I said, with taller folks, larger folks. And, that's...
It is a midsize.
It is a midsize. What I liked about it, it's got some good acceleration. Crash test. We didn't talk about that very often, but it rated very well in the crash test. Yeah. So it's a good vehicle.
How much does something like this cost?
This particular one, depending on mileage, because it's always rated on mileage, you're looking at about $10,000 on a
extremely affordable.
Right.
Very affordable, and
if you get a good one,
pretty dependable.
Right.
Nissan by this time, 14, 15, and up, Nissan had that CVT working perfectly.
Unlike almost all others, and it works so well. You actually makes you feel like you're going through the gears in a regular transmission, but it gets great gas mileage, even with the V6. I remember these. I don't get them very often anymore. Nissan's kind of cut back on their press fleet, but it's a great car.
And a step up from this would be an SUV. And like I said, we've had, my daughter's got a 14. This is particularly a 15, and I like the car. It's a good-looking little car.
I agree. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with the top of the hour and head back down to Woody's Waterfront Car Show right after this.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching in real time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Real Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@nwheeltime.com. From Studio A in Texas, USA, it's the award-winning In Wheel Time Car Show. Today we are live from Woody's Waterfront Car Show at the Topwater Grill in San Leon, Texas. This week, inside our new car showroom, the Cadillac CT4 and the CT5. We'll give you an in-depth review of each of those. You'll also get this week's automotive news, Conrad's Car Clinic, This Week in Auto History, and more. All just ahead on today's In Wheel Time Car Show for Saturday, September 26, 2020. Howdy. Along with Mike Out of This World Mars, who's down at Woody's Waterfront Car Show, and King Conrad DeLong, including Jeff Zekin and David Ainsley. I'm Don Armstrong. We're so glad that you could join us on this Saturday. It's a beautiful day here in Houston, Texas, if you're watching somewhere from around the world. Last week we had to deal with a tropical storm. This week, none of that. Beautiful. And I wanted to remind everybody that tonight is a big race out at Houston Motorsports Park. If you're into local circle track racing, 3/8 mile, and it is the Gary Merrill Memorial Race, and the big Pro Mod or Pro Modified cars are going to be there, and they're coming in from all over the United States. So there's going to be a full house of them, and it's $7,000 to the winner tonight.
Now, was it 2 weeks ago was the truck, or was it last?
2 weeks ago was the truck.
$10,000 truck.
And, yeah, and so they crowned the winner that night. And then the winner and the second place car or truck both got disqualified because of a technicality that neither driver did it on purpose, because both of these cars they used, for whatever reason, Pensacola, Florida rules from this particular track, okay? So they go through tech, and, here, with the technicality of the inspections afterwards, they found out that these cars are supposed to have a solid drive shaft. Don't ask me why. I don't know. Those are the rules. Come to find out, these were not solid drive shafts. They were hollow, like you would have in your car.
Yeah.
And so they got disqualified. The drivers didn't even know.
Oh, well, what a shame. I wonder if there's really an advantage to a solid drive shaft versus a hollow.
And I don't know that. I don't know.
Well, the disadvantage would be weight, wouldn't it?
I would think so, yeah.
But, yeah, and I'm sure that the cars get weighed and they have some sort of a deal that they're scales and all that stuff post-race, and somehow or another they didn't. So the third place truck won.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It is very interesting.
But he didn't get the winner's circle interview from you.
No, he did not.
So you say the Pro Modifieds tonight?
Pro Modifieds tonight, $7,000 to win.
Say the purse, yeah.
And last 2 weeks ago, the trucks, it was a 75-lap feature, and I'm telling you, those things are fast, and the 75 laps click off really quick.
Well, when you and I went out there, the bigger model, like the Pro Mods and the trucks, they turn about a 15 to 16-second lap out there. So they are quick. Your head is on a swivel. And if you're on the infield, you have to be careful, because there was a minor incident on track.
Jeff got all freaked out.
Yeah, it was coming right at me. I'm going, oh, my God. Here we go.
All right, well, let's go back out to Woody's Waterfront Car Show. It is a cruise-in show. Mr. Mars is down there with David Ainsley. David's behind the camera. Mr. Mars standing in front. All right, Mr. Mars, let's not have any problems now. It's all on you, brother. Let's see what you got.
Wait a minute. I'm shocked that you would even think I would cause problems.
Well, okay.
Woody's Waterfront Car Grill. We've got the ocean. We've got cars. We got everything. And we have Chris Paskey here, who has his 1963 Ford Falcon wagon with him. And he's got a really unique story about this vehicle. And I'm going to let him tell you that because it's really cool. I'm Curtis Pasky. Have a little shop behind my house called Rooster Rinse Garage. You can check me out on Curtis the Fly Guy Instagram. You want to look up some more cool pictures. But let's start about the car. We got a 1963 Ford Falcon. Bought from a gentleman that built it in Oregon.
That's unique.
He was a customizer, put about 8 gallons of paint on it. Goes by the name of Catalina DeVille.
And all the drawer knobs in the grill.
And everything, all the stuff.
Look at this. Look at under the hood.
And pull knobs.
It's a straight
this
six.
Is the town of California the car was built in.
Is that all hand painted?
That had involvement in the car was built. Is it hand painted? It's hand painted. This is a winter project. Because up in those parts it freezes, so they take the hood off and they hand painted it on the kitchen table for you. So over 8 gallons of paint on the car. As you can see, a lot of the pay homage to the lowrider world with lace, scallop, flame, mix and match of colors. And to top it off, it's interchange for the ladies.
How cool is that? Look at.
That's neat.
You get a little space age, proper era for this year. Everybody was trying to go to the moon.
The pink fur on the carpet.
Mm-hmm. You know, if I was going to have, it's a Falcon wagon. If I was going to have one, I think that's the way it would look. I like it.
I love the way they brought the flames into the interior.
Yours would be.
And look at the big furry backpack.
I was just going to say, how are you going to describe big furry what?
Don's would be pink on the outside.
It's got the big furry back end.
Oh, look at that.
Oh,
there you go.
Don's date tonight.
The tailpipe looks like a bumper, but it's actually the dual tailpipes that come out of the six-cylinder.
Wow, that's pretty neat.
Crazy.
Oh, that's cool.
They need that on bitchin' rides.
I need that.
So what this guy did is he took the six-cylinder and he dualed it out with a split header. A lot of times they do 3 and 3. In this case, he did 2 on one header and 4 on the other, which gives it that glass tack pop sound when you're cruising down the road. And, of course, you have to do a little bit of romance in the back.
That's a chick magnet. David's got a...
I wish David or Mike needs to saddle up next to the mannequin.
No, bring the mannequin back to the studio.
Bring it back to the studio. We want that mannequin. There you go. That is absolutely perfect.
Hey, Mars, is it cold out there?
Oh, God.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Hey, you don't know that mannequin. Don't touch it.
That's right. You don't know where that mannequin has been.
Back in the furry back end in the fluffy area.
Keep it away from Don.
How cool is that?
Oh, my God.
Bring the mannequin back.
You know, this is kind of like the good old boys club here this morning.
The mannequin needs a Woody shirt.
The mannequin, well, no, it needs to have that.
And a skateboard, so you're ready to go to Portland.
Right on, man. This is my original skateboard. When we were all young, everybody knows that age. So my time to sign off. Y'all check me out. We'll skate on out of here.
All right.
Before you go, so tell me about the car. When you got the car. Oh, yes. Another neat story. I bought the car from the gentleman, Catalina DeVille in Oregon, and I got it just about a month or two ago, and I've done some work to it. But if I wouldn't have bought the car when I bought it, the car wouldn't exist right now.
Wow.
Because he lost all of his other cars and everything else he had, his shop, in the fires.
That's terrible.
2 weeks ago. So this is some of the survivor of the fires.
Wow.
Well, it's
Good story.
Cool car.
Definitely. You know, he kind of reminds
Something
me, is it
unique.
Ed Big Daddy Roth?
Yeah.
That has that kind of look to him. Yeah. So it all kind of fits together.
The swagger.
He's also got a page called The Bill's Playground. And you can check him out on Facebook also. Show some of his paintwork. He's an amazing artist. And listen to
Well, I like the way the hood is kind of shifted back from the fenders. Have you noticed that?
Uh-huh.
That paint doesn't quite match up.
No, the hood is up.
No, the hood's up.
The hood's up.
The hood's up.
It's
I
attached,
love
yeah.
the drawer pulls you have in the dash.
The dash, you mean in the grill?
In the grill, yeah.
The door pulls. There you go. Yeah.
Drawer pulls. They say drawer pulls.
Yeah, so if you get in a bind at your kitchen, you could just come out and boil it off.
There you go.
Right there with your bar.
Well,
So when he's cleaning it up, Don, this is where you get out here and polish your knobs.
oh my God.
Knob polish.
Bring the mannequin back.
Hey, talk to Jackie with the.
Oh,
there's a Nova.
Oh,
There's
that
a Chevy
Nova.
too.
Yeah, that's
okay.
my
Well,
goodness.
we'll talk to him next. We really need to take a break, and I'm almost fearful to take a break. I just why? That's just who I am at this point in the morning. But at any rate,
So let's take a break.
Okay, we're going to take a break as soon as I get my act together here. I've been distracted just a little bit.
And when we come back, Mike, go back to that Chevy too.
Yeah, can you do that?
Well, we got to find you.
Okay.
In the meantime, we go over here. We got a couple other people lined up.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be back to you in a minute.
All right. Well, and we sure wish you guys would fix that audio because it sucks, to be honest with you.
Picky.
Well, yeah, there is that. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back right after this quick break.
As America gets back on the road, a lot of things have changed, but not the need for drivers to be safe. With that in mind, it's time to review our safe driving checklist. First, you're in your car.
Check.
You're sober.
Check.
You're wearing your seatbelt.
Check.
Your phone is put away.
Check.
Great. Make sure you follow the speed limit. And remember, law enforcement is enforcing traffic safety laws in our community to save lives. Paid for by NHTSA.
Advance Auto Parts and CarQuest present the Gary Merrill Memorial Pro Modified Race with a purse-busting $7,000 to the winner. Saturday night, September 26th at Houston Motorsports Park. Gates open at 5. The commemorative Air Force flyover and racing at 6. Wear your mask. We've got social distancing and sanitizer. Enjoy dollar hot dogs and dollar beer. Advance tickets online at NASCARHouston.com. Saturday night, September 26th. Gates at 5. Racing at 6. Houston Motorsports Park. The $7,000 Gary Merrill Pro Modified Race. Bring the kids.
It's the In-Wheel Time Car Show.
Sort of.
Kind of. It's also kind of a throwback to the JCPenney display in the front window of the mall.
Yeah.
There's a little hint of that already going on.
Yep.
And I have to tell you that so many of the car shows that we go to and we actually attend in person that unfortunately you haven't been along with us, but you're going to, that these car shows, these cruise-ins like this, generally are this way. With a whole cast of characters, mainly
Nostalgic.
males.
Yeah, nostalgic, and then you've got the what do they call them? The young ladies that dress up like the Betty Boops and things.
Well, there are some of those. Yeah, there are some of those.
But everybody has a story about their car.
Right.
And there's, I mean, that one was a good one. You got to admit.
And we'll see how this story plays out.
All right, let's go back down to Woody's Waterfront Car Show at the Topwater Grill in San Leon, Texas. And Mr. Mars, take it away, sir.
Is this Rudy?
Hey, guys. Rudy? We're down here, and we're talking with Brian Brock. Now, Brian has got this 55 two-door hardtop it's dropped. I mean, it's a great representation of the Tri-5 category. And, Brian, where are you from? I mean, I'm Dickinson, Texas. So you're close. Yeah. You're not too far. It's right down the street. Yeah, and so you drove it over here. Yes. Yeah, you drive it very much? Much as I can, yes. Yeah. I mean, it's a gorgeous car and everything. Why don't you tell us about it? Give us a little walk around here.
It's a 1955 Chevrolet two-door hardtop. It's group beer in color, cream Sedona tan top, two-tone. Got a full leather interior in it. Power windows, power locks, all your fundamentals up to today's car. Got a got air, vinegar, got automatic 4L60 LS2 for the motor. I sit on an air ride chassis from Scott Ride Shop bag. It's got the Ford wheels on it. Got 20 by 12 in the rear, and I got 18/8 in the front. Got the different radiator cooling package on it. Smoothie bumpers. Kind of kept it kind of a retro mod. Kind of kept it original as I could on the outside, and kind of retro modded on the transplant and running gear system. There's trailer keys, chassis, motors. Car was built by me. And I was working.
You know, I'm sorry, but the audio sucks. So I'm not going to make everybody listen to all of that. We can still stay there.
We can still show the cars.
Yeah. So if you guys can hear us down there,
it's an LS-powered '55 Chevy, and how gorgeous the interior is. And I think he was telling us his root beer in color. And I think we've seen this car before. I think this was out at Guitars and Cars with us last year, what a gorgeous car, though. How wonderfully done it is.
I like the color. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's very nice. If you guys can hear us down there, could you let us see the interior?
Again?
We'd love to see the interior again, and maybe a kind of a wide shot of the car. Oh, yeah.
The low back seats, what a center console it is.
That's pretty.
That is a really nice car.
Yeah.
It's what they call a resto mod.
Super well done. You know, even with the chevron, the V in the seats. I think he was saying it's got Boyd wheels on it. Look at the dash and how he did the air conditioning vents in the dash.
Yeah, those are nice.
You know, which is untypical of a '55 Chevy, and the steering wheel to match the wheels on the vehicle as well.
Yeah, there's some major money invested in this car.
Well, there's good thought in the theme throughout the car as well.
Yes, exactly. Did he say who helped him make this car?
I think he did. We just didn't hear it.
Okay, yeah. But at any rate,
and how perfect the chrome is on it as well.
Right. It truly is a beautiful car. So.
Oh, and look, his trunk is open. My trunk is full of parts.
We know.
Oh, even with the chrome, the bead trim inside the trunk as well. How well done that is.
Yeah. It is a very nice car. This is a very nice car show, and Michael Woody is a guy that for a living he does appraisals for
Auto
cars.
Appraisal Network.
Right.
Yeah, Auto Appraisal Network, and so. Michael is well schooled, and he also has a eclectic group of friends that have some really nice iron, and this is obviously one of the nicer cars that you'll see at a cruise in. And
he'll actually post them on Facebook of the things that he's done, or
as he's done his appraisals on.
Right, exactly.
And
do that.
Because of the appraisals, see, there's his
guitars.
Double nickel. Double nickel is the name of the car.
Okay.
But, you know, because of the appraisals he does, Woody stays connected with a lot of other show cars out there.
Right.
Yeah, so we're well connected, and you know, last year, which was the first of these shows. He does them every year, and last year was the first one, and what a great turnout! I mean, a lot of cars. The place was full, like it is now.
I was going to say, it looks like.
And he limited it to 100 cars because
you only have so much space.
Yeah, exactly. And I have a feeling that it's going to continue to grow. I could see maybe next year doing 125 cars and having it spill out into the paved parking lot.
Well, hopefully they can track him down and maybe talk to him a little bit.
Yeah, Woody. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get a chance to talk to him. You know, remember Woody has that. Is it a '56 Pontiac Safari 2-door wagon?
Yes.
How cool is that?
Man,
look at this. I'm assuming that's 50.
50.
No, 50.
51.
Well, come down with the shot, and it'll give me the age of the car, the year the car was.
I'm thinking that's a
1950 Chevy.
Yeah, my grandfather had one of those.
My son's got a Fleet side.
Yeah. Not the Fleet side.
No, it's a fastback.
Oh, okay, the coupe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Fleet something or other.
Fleet line.
That's it.
Oh, even this, you know, with the upgraded seats, I love the shifter handle.
Well, he got that knob from the wagon.
Say the wagon.
He took it off the
It's a
front of the car.
doorknob.
I was going to say, he took it off my shower.
Does that one come with a mannequin?
No, probably not. And the patina on it.
That's nice.
But that patina is probably more show because looks like it's got a paint over the top of it, clear color.
Well,
over
it's
the
got a
top
clear
of
coat on it, yeah.
We need to take a little break here because if we're going to try to stay on track this morning, we need to do that so I can get our car review in. All right, gentlemen, we're going to cut away from you, and we're going to come back here and take a break. And then I've got a car review that we're going to do that, and it's going to do that in just a couple seconds, so stay with us.
There's no greater pain a parent can suffer than losing a child. And yet, heat stroke deaths in hot cars are on the rise. The temperature inside a vehicle can reach deadly levels in just a few minutes. Leaving windows cracked does not help. These preventable deaths can occur even when the outside temperature is as low as 57 degrees. Never leave your baby or child in a vehicle, even for a short period. And always check the back seat before you get out of the car. Where's baby? Look before you lock. Paid for by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Dude, you may want to slow down. There's a cop car up there. Hey, man, there's another cop. I'd think about putting your seatbelt on if I were you. And if you could sober up in less than 5 seconds, that'd be cool, too.
As America gets back on the road, a lot of things have changed, but not the need for drivers to be safe. Cops are enforcing traffic safety laws in our community to save lives. Paid for by NHTSA.
All right. Mars is supposed to do this car review at this hour, but I'm going to go ahead and do that because we're having audio problems down there.
CT5?
So CT5, yes, it is. So the review is on the Cadillac 2020 CT5. And the Cadillac CT5 comes in these trim levels. The luxury, the premium luxury, the sport, and the CT5V. I had the CT5V.
Yeah,
the mid-size sedan seats 5 passengers. It's all new this year.
Yep.
For 2020. Now, exterior features include big grille with a big caddy emblem stuck right there in the middle of it, and it looks really good.
Looks like it's
this
smiling.
particular one is not the V series. This is just the regular CT5.
Yeah, because the V has very little chrome, mostly black chrome.
Blacked up.
I'm tearing up.
Quad exhaust, V emblem on the trunk lid, sexy booty with a built-in spoiler on that trunk lid. Red calipers, gray wheels, and it really, overall design gets an A+ in my book. Interior highlights include an interior that is actually different than the CT4. There's the engine. So if you hold it right there, Jeff, I'll talk about the engine since these are out of order. But it's got a 3-liter twin-turbo V6 that puts out 355 horsepower and 405 pound-feet of torque through a 10-speed automatic transmission. It is a rear-wheel drive car.
Nice.
Paddle shifted, and it blips through those 10 speeds like you wouldn't believe.
Did you use them?
Gets 18 miles per gallon city, 26 highway for a combined of 21. I got 23.5. Of course, most of mine is on the highway. That was over 369.2 miles. What I liked about it, the power, baby. And you connect that 355 horsepower to 10 speeds, man, it'll get up and go really fast. What I would have liked as an option on this car, a manual transmission.
Yeah, the earlier CTSs had manuals, but the market's very much gone away from manual transmissions. Even Ferrari has gone away from manual transmissions. The only thing they offer is that dual clutch transmission. anymore.
I'm thinking that maybe one of these days my 6-speed manual transmission Corvette will be worth some money.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely, it will be. But hey, I don't see Cadillac coming back with a manual in these.
I said I'd like to see it. Mm-hmm. I didn't say we were going to see it.
Gorgeous interior in that car, though.
Yeah, it is. So the interior highlights include, it's actually different than the CT4, but it's the same car. The CT4 and the CT5 are the same car, the exteriors. But the CT5 has a different interior, different options. It's just different. Okay? Is somebody screwing together screws out there? Sounds like it. At any rate, so iPad with an infotainment screen atop the center stack, different, better control center console than the CT4, as I mentioned. Big paddle shifters make it easy to hot rod the car. For lack of a better term.
Did you utilize the paddle shifters?
I did. I put it through its paces, and boy, I'll tell you what.
Pretty spot on when you pull the trigger?
Yeah, and when it comes time to shift it, I mean, it shifts like that. Boom, you're there. Cargo trunk room, small opening. The V has special nuances to it. As I mentioned, I told you about the engine. As far as ride and handling, the V has big 19-inch optional tire wheels on it, run flat tires. So even with all that rubber, it can barely hang on to the power and the transmission.
And that's supposed to be what a V is about, to have that power, that performance, the handling characteristics.
And the quick steering. It's nice, man. So the base trim price on the car is $47,695
on a CT5.
On a CT5,
not the V.
Now the price, correct. The price is tested with the V option is $63,000. Base model price, if you just want to get into a CT5, $36,895. So competitors, BMW 5 Series starts at $53,400. Audi A6, $54,900, and the Lexus GS 300, $46,860.
But that's right in the price range, even with the V option on it. That's right in the price range.
It truly is, because those are all base prices for those cars. So there you have it. That's my review of the Cadillac CT5 V. Liked it? I like it a lot. We are going to go back out to Woody's Waterfront car show out at the Topwater Grill in San Leon, Texas here in just a moment. We got a couple of seconds here, and I wanted to remind everybody, and you'll hear the commercials. There's a big race tonight out at Houston Motorsports Park. $7,000 to the winner of the Pro Modifieds, and they're coming in from all over the country to race in this race tonight because the purse is big. And I will tell you that 2 weeks ago with the truck race, the stands, everybody was all socially distanced. Okay? Yep. But there were a lot of people there, and it was a lot of fun, and I think everybody really enjoyed it. Mask up. There's hand sanitizer there. So it's a good, safe event that's outdoors.
Gina puts on a good show, and it's very timely. I mean, everything moves. There's no real delays.
There were a couple of delays last week because of a couple of incidents. Yes, that's true. One, a battery exploded and put battery acid all over the track. That took a while to clean that up. We had a rain shower that rolled through. Well, that took a while to dry the track back up. But after all of the commotion and everything,
it's still pulled off.
We still left there at 10 o'clock at night.
And now, that's what people want.
Right. So plan for a 3-hour show. The green flag goes at 6:05, and you should be out of there by 9 o'clock. Get home at a decent hour.
And the flyover is at 6 o'clock, if I read that thing. And is it the Confederate Air Force?
Not the Confederate Air. It's called the Commemorative Air Force.
Commemorative Air Force. So you're going to see some very vintage planes are going to fly over, and that is so cool.
It is cool.
It truly is, and it's a great event. All American. You know, we stand up and salute the flag, and we say a prayer before the show gets going. And if you like that sort of thing, come on out. If you don't like that sort of thing, then find a football game to go to.
There you go.
An NFL football game. Where
I haven't watched any of it the last 2 weeks.
And I refuse to this entire season.
You cannot get $1 beer, $1 hot dog at a football game.
No, you cannot.
But you can get it there at the racetrack.
At the races.
There you go.
And you can get that smell of gasoline and burning rubber and all of that other stuff. You won't get that at a football
That's
game.
awesome, too.
It is tons of fun, and I encourage you to bring the kids because the kids have a good time at this thing. It is a lot of fun. They've got a class there called the Eco Stocks, and
that's a neat class.
It is a wonderful class, and you can buy any of those cars that are on the racetrack for $2,000.
But it's like, in that range.
And my favorite car is that. What is it, like an 82 Cutlass or 92 Cutlass Supreme in turquoise?
They take the first turn so deep that the left rear wheel is off the ground.
Yeah. Oh, and most all of those are front-wheel drive vehicles anyhow.
All right, so
stuff.
we're going to take a quick break here, and we're going to go back to Woody's Waterfront Car Show right after this.
Do you know what teens just love? Not being told what you're supposed to love. That's not anyone's business but yours. It doesn't matter what you love, but if you love it, click it. That includes you too. Because in 2018, 42% of Texas teens who died in traffic crashes were not wearing their seatbelts. Make sure everyone is buckled up. Every rider, every ride. Brought to you by the Texas Department of Transportation.
Texas Truck Works is your go-to truck customizer. From mild-to-wild lift kits, custom wheels, and steering and handling enhancements to the best personal and commercial wraps, Texas Truck Works delivers. Let Texas Truck Works founder Scott Stevens help you get the most out of your truck or Jeep. Texas Truck Works has decades of customizing experience, including power adders and complete engine swaps. Let the Texas Truck Works team design an upgrade plan that fits your budget. Get truck attitude today at TexasTruckWorks.com. This is the award-winning car talk show in real time, your weekly go-to all things automotive place. Today we are live at the Top Water Grill in Woody's Waterfront Car Show in San Leon, Texas, right there on Galveston Bay. Along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeff Zeke, and David Ainsley, I'm Don Armstrong. Glad that you could join us today. It's a beautiful Saturday here in the Houston, Texas area, as well as down in their Galveston County where the boys are right now. So, matter of fact, why don't we go out there right now, go to San Leon, Texas. Mr. Mars is there, and he's got a guest. Good morning, Mr. Mars.
Hey guys, how y'all doing this morning? We are out here having a big time. Got lots of iron out here to look at. Got a lot of people to talk to, including Johnny C. Now we've talked to Johnny C before, but it was in a different world, a little bit different time. So Johnny, so you're from local, you're from Santa Fe, Texas, but you do pinstriping, lettering, signs, graphics on vehicles. I've been in the automotive scene for a number of years, since the late 70s, and this is the car that I built for my daughter, a 50 model Chevrolet. And some of the things we've done to it, when we got the car, it came out of Nashville. It's the original car, and we rewired the car, put an LS motor in it, put a two-link under the rear of it with a S10 rear end, put a Mustang 2 front end, force interior, air ride, and my daughter thought the car didn't look right without surfboards on it. So I did take wood shop in high school, so I decided to build the surfboard. Out of the blue, we decided to build a surfboard. So you built both of these? I did, yes. The one on this side of the car, the driver's side, I built both. They're hollow core boards, they're strip-built wood, there's tons of epoxy and tons of paintwork on them. I pinstripe and I letter them up. I built this one second because you said it didn't look right. We just wanted a surfboard. So I got suckered into building two of these things. That's pretty cool because I don't think the ones that they build now, the pros, they don't use them. They use balsa or something. Yeah. You can move around to the interior here. Kind of got her modest thing. She's got an old door handle for the door knob for the shifter. Kind of classy for the lady. I had a Delmo Jacinto built the wheels in California. They're built aluminum wheels with a 54 Chevrolet car hubcap. The car's original patina car. It's only had like a satin clear put on it to preserve the paint, which fits all original paint. Of course, I did the paint work on the motor. Valve covers to put a Pontiac Grand Am on it with a stock 5.3 truck motor. Keep it cool. Now you did all the pinstripe. I did, yeah. But you're involved with that at Autorama as well. I put on the pinstripers panel in Autorama. It's a charitable event. I bring pinstripers in from all over the state. We get everything donated, the panels that we paint on, and pinstripe it all up, and then they auction it off for charity. And it's a great cause. You're down at the East Autorama for next year. Come see it. It's called the Pinstripers Panel. We'll be glad to have you guys there. Cool. All right. And this is your daughter? This is my daughter's car. I'm going to ask you. I don't know. 25. He's old enough to appreciate it.
All right, well, we're going to cut out. Oh, there it kind of comes back. Okay, there you go.
All right. No, we're
Okay, well, they clearly are having some sort of technical problems down there, and so we're going to bring it back here from Woody's Water. We had hoped that we had had all of this straightened out, but sorry, we don't.
Well, it's still worth looking at the cars. It's a little struggle with the audio and
then picture freezing.
Well, when there's that many people out in San Leon, it's everybody gets on their cell phone and it struggles a little bit. But you can see he's carrying their own internet. That's his what's on the tripod right there is his own internet hotspot. So, but it's still jamming up. But still some cool cars.
All right. Well, at any rate, so I've got a little thing that I kind of put together from Haggerty. And 4 tempting personal luxury cars you can own for under $12,000.
For under $12,000. So these have got to be used cars.
Well, of course.
Okay.
Okay. So are the wheels turning? Start turning those wheels. This is Mecum Auctions kind of thing. So while there's some debate about when the personal luxury car came into being, it is generally agreed upon that the 58 Ford Thunderbird is the car that set the standard for all to follow. The standard being a mass-produced coupe with an emphasis on comfort and amenities over performance. That doesn't always need to ring true, though. Ask any owner of a supercharged Studebaker Avanti.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
How about a Pontiac Grand Prix SJ?
Oh, 70 model? Yeah, 455, 428.
Big boat.
Monte Carlo SS 454.
Yeah, 70 model. That was only the 390 horse 454.
Didn't they have a bubble back glass on that?
No, but that was on the G bodies. He's talking about the original Monte Carlo SS.
Okay.
The original Monte Carlo, so that would have been 70, 71, 72.
I was working at a Chevrolet dealership when that car came into the dealership, and, man, it was the cat's meow.
Everybody wanted it. Yeah.
Well, and that was Chevrolet's version of the Grand Touring Coupe like the Grand Prix was.
Well, the one striking thing about it, you open the hood, and you could probably stand in front of the engine because the nose of the car was so long.
Mm.
Like an 8-foot hood.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, actually, and the weird things from being in the car business, the longest hood in General Motors production was a 1970 Grand Prix. It was longer than those Cadillac hoods were because the top of the hood had that nose point in it, and because of that, that was the longest hood. And that was one of the hoods. If you've ever closed the hood of one of the old GM vehicles, the way the hinges work, you want to push back before you push down so you can get the hinge to start work, because if you just pull straight down,
you're gonna bend it.
You bend the hood.
Did it?
Oh, have you?
Yeah, absolutely.
You go out and you see so many of them that the hood's bent on because people didn't push back.
Here's
first.
one for you. How about the 73 to 75 Pontiac Grand Am?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's what they call the colonnade body. That was the big Grand Am, not the little one that you know of in the 80s.
Sculpted. Yep. It was sculpted.
Right. And they actually had a GTO version of that back then. And the Grand Am, there was a Can-Am version of that Grand Am that actually had the shaker hood off of the Trans Am in it as well.
Power came from a standard 2-barrel 400 cubic inch V8. Although a 4-barrel 400 and 455 were optional. Examples today are incredibly uncommon, but are a relative bargain when you consider the wow factor of driving around in a car few remember when it was new. And driver quality cars can be had for just a touch over $10,000, although pristine cars will run you upwards into the mid-20s. But even then, can you imagine a pristine car from 73 to 75 and driving that to work?
In the 20s.
And you could get the 400 4-barrel with a 4-speed transmission back then in that big of a coupe.
Here's one for you. the 83 to 92 Lincoln Mark 7.
Oh, yeah. Another boat.
Cool car.
It was.
Very sleek looking car.
Yeah. Long hood.
And there was a period of time in there, and I put it in unicorn hunting a while back, that you could get a BMW inline 6-cylinder diesel in that car.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I think it was like 1 or 2 years.
Why would you want that?
I don't know. But if you want one that's collectible.
I remember you posting that. Yeah.
Collectible? I would not put that in the collectible category.
Yeah, it's collected by the record driver.
That's right.
And record driver.
Like my
Ford
Ford Transit is right now, right?
Yeah.
You don't get a warranty, he gets a record driver.
Oh my God. Yeah, he does. And the poor guy here.
I know Frank on a first name basis now.
Jeez. All right. So how about an 83 to 88 Ford Thunderbird Turbo Coupe?
Absolutely. Beautiful car. And that was the body style car that Dawsonville, who was the NASCAR racer.
Yeah.
Bill
Elliott.
Bill Elliott went 214 miles an hour at Talladega.
The value of that car is $7,200.
That's not a bad price.
No. By the way, that Lincoln Mark 7 that we just talked about, $4,800.
And with the diesel, it's $1,000.
I would want that. 81 to 85 Buick Riviera T-Type.
81 to 85.
Riviera, you said?
Riviera.
Yeah,
front-wheel drive.
It's on the same chassis as a Tornado.
Tornado and the Eldorado.
Right.
Inconceivable to think that Buick would be interested in a performance package. However, the longitudinally mounted engine layout designed to fit the 307 cubic inch Oldsmobile V8 meant that the smaller 3.8-liter V6 had plenty of room for turbocharged activities.
I was going to say the T-Type would have been a turbo.
Yeah. So you could get the T-Type at what they call the unicorn level, selling for $22,000 in 2018.
Well,
but
I'll have to go find that and put that on unicorn hunting, because how cool a car would that be? Because they didn't make very many of them with the turbo V6.
How can the folks listening and watching get on the unicorn? How do they do that?
Just go to our Facebook page, and I post 2 or 3 of them a week. And then if they go to hashtag #InWheelTimeUnicorn, one word, it'll bring them all up on one page.
They have to like it?
Yeah, well, they can like it, but they can also just go to hashtag #InWheelTimeUnicorn, and it'll show all of them I've made. And there's probably close to 500 of them now.
Cool.
Let's take a quick break, and we're going to be right back after this.
As America gets back on the road, a lot of things have changed, but not the need for drivers to be safe. With that in mind, it's time to review our safe driving checklist. First, you're in your car. Check. You're sober. Check. You're wearing your seatbelt. Check. Your phone is put away. Check. Great. Make sure you follow the speed limit. And remember, law enforcement is enforcing traffic safety laws in our community to save lives. Paid for by NHTSA.
Advance Auto Parts and CarQuest present the Gary Merrill Memorial Pro Modified Race with a purse-busting $7,000 to the winner. Saturday night, September 26th at Houston Motorsports Park. Gates open at 5. The commemorative Air Force flyover and racing at 6. Wear your mask. We've got social distancing and sanitizer. Enjoy dollar hot dogs and dollar beer. Advance tickets online at NASCARHouston.com. Saturday night, September 26th. Gates at 5. Racing at 6. Houston Motorsports Park. The $7,000 Gary Merrill Pro Modified Race. Bring the kids.
Hey, it's the In-Wheel Time Car Show. Thanks for joining us. We are live today down there at Woody's Waterfront Car Show at the Topwater Grill in San Leon, Texas. There you see a picture, and let's go down there once again, see if we can talk to the boys. Mr. Mars, what are we looking at there? Is that an AMG?
AMC. SST.
Well, it's a convertible, too.
Convertible.
Nice.
Well, okay, go ahead.
So tell us more about it.
We're looking for the driver, and it's
Well, we don't care about that. We just want to see the car.
Is the audio any better? That's the question.
Yeah, that's a little bit better.
It's a little bit better as long as you guys stand next to the phone or whatever it is that you're talking about. We love the, 13-window bus next to you, too. But let's look under the hood.
We start with the red drop top and kind of work our way down. There's another one on the other side of the VW to talk about, too. So we got the cap on the hood, and mean, this is the SST.
Well, your sound is going away again.
The AMC made this.
Yeah, the audio is. I tell you what, Conrad is going to do the play-by-play here on this car because
your audio is just disconnected. And
yeah,
it's
and
so
your picture
hollow.
is freezing up, and it's just not good. So,
but they didn't make very many of these, and this would be a sister car to the AMC Rebel. And I don't know if this one was actually a Rebel or if this was the SST. But I'm going to say 70 model, 69, 70 model. What a cool car. And this would have been comparative AMC build to a Chevy Chevelle or the Oldsmobile Cutlass.
Not a Malibu?
Yeah, Malibu, Chevelle, all that same intermediate size car. But what a beautiful car. Pretty rare car, I'm assuming, because I've not seen many of those as well.
I don't think I ever have. Yeah.
So it's I think this might be called a Rebel SST.
Let's move over to the bus.
So let's look at the Volkswagen Bus because those are so collectible today. And this has got the upper windows.
They pay you big bucks for this.
Look at the matching luggage as well in there.
Nice.
And I'm assuming that's probably about a 1.6 liter flat four. And how gorgeous the interior of that is. And a very well-done engine. I can't tell. I don't know the size of the engines, but I know back then 1.6 or 1.8 would have been the size of it.
It also has the big luggage rack bolted onto the top of it. All this stuff is very rare. You never see this.
Yeah, this is pretty rare because it does have the upper glass in it. And I know it's got a sunroof as well. Yeah. And I know all you Volkswagen aficionados, you're looking at this and you're yelling at me to tell me how many windows it is. And I'm hoping Jeff's counting the windows for me.
I lost count.
Because I know there's a 23 and a 21, and I think there's a 19 window out there, and that's got the tilt forwards, which means that I believe is a Prix 65 with the tilt forward windows, and that was the way you air conditioned it.
You know what caught my eye?
You tilted the windows forward.
There's 21
64.
window. There it is,
21
right there.
Window.
What caught my eye were the handle grips on the backs of the seats.
It's to hold on tight.
I know.
No seatbelts.
So they get a whole like an old bus.
But that is truly collectible. I'm going to say that's a very valuable car to have out there as a Volkswagen. And those go.
I don't believe I've ever seen that car at any show.
No, that's real. That's a gorgeous piece.
Yeah,
that is a gorgeous.
Okay,
car.
let's move.
Let's look at the CUDA. Is that a show us?
That's just plumb crazy.
46 back. That's plumb crazy.
Plumb crazy.
Wow, that's a gorgeous car.
And I think, 71, because in 70, they didn't have the boxed out grill. In 70, the grill was just all the way across. And 71 is so he's got the original battery in it and a shaker hood. And is this
wooden steering wheel?
Yeah, probably. And I don't know if it's automatic or if it's he's about to swing around there, show if it's an automatic or a standard, because the automatic, because if it was a standard, it'd have the pistol grip shifter. Yep. But what a gorgeous car. I'm sure John Hovis is his mouth-watering looking at this as well. And I know John's got a plumb crazy one out there. And I think those rear window louvers were factory on this car as a factory option, as well as the rear deck wing. Those were factory options on this.
By the way, I ran across in my Jc Whitney catalog several of the louvers that you could get for your car back in the day.
So back then, this car would have been a 375 horsepower 440. So pretty beastly, and that was seriously underrated for what it would put out. But pretty beastly. And I'll tell you pull up next to one of these trying to do a little street race, and you better watch out because he's going to catch you if you're not real careful.
And if Mark Warman was here, he'd nitpick that.
Well, yeah, but he'd also start rattling off all the option codes on it. I'm not that good. Oh, is that a Myers-Manx?
Is it an original Myers-Manx?
No, I don't know if it.
Or is it?
But how cool. Now, well, you look at the suspension on that, so you know that's a much newer level. It's not a Myers. Is it? No, it's not a Myers. But still, how cool is that? How much fun would that be?
You're in Galveston.
Out there on, it is a Myers-Manx. Okay. So, but really upgraded suspension on that because that's untypical. Because generally that body would have been set on top of a Volkswagen Beetle chassis.
Correct.
But isn't the Myers-Manx just the body alone?
The body is a Myers-Manx, right? But this looks like it's bolted onto a much different chassis than what you typically see. And how beautiful is the interior? Well done. with the cage and the luggage area on it. But a tube frame chassis, and it's got a Volkswagen engine, but very, very well done.
That's built for the sand.
Yeah, seriously upgraded suspension.
That's built for the beach.
I don't know as if you would take that. It is so nice. I don't know as if you take it to the beach.
Here you go, Don. It's a fat tire.
Oh, boy.
69 Camaro.
It's been tubbed.
It's been seriously tubbed. Do those rear tires make my rear end look big?
Yes, they do, as a matter of fact.
And, okay. So you move the battery in the back to get a little weight transfer.
Look at how the striping goes through the back of the trunk.
Got a fuel cell back there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the small spoiler on the back of it. Hi, Susie. Coming in. And then gorgeous color on that car. I'm just a fan of the blue car as well. Automatic. Seriously modified dash and interior in it. It's got the houndstooth seat inserts in it.
My favorite.
Is it? Well, yeah, because you did that on the Corvair.
Corvair, yeah, I did. That is a very nice car.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
You know, I have to tell you that one of
in the trunk too.
I've mentioned this before, but Woody's Waterfront Car Show
got me a big block.
Nothing but the finest cars down there.
Yeah, they get some real high level cars. So
good group.
You know, nice big block. I can't tell how big it is, but I can tell you it's got aluminum heads on it as well. And what a gorgeous car. And it's got the Rally Sport front end on it. Oh, it is a 454. Okay, thank you very much. I'm glad you're listening because nobody else is. The Rally Sport front end on it as well really makes it quite unique to look at. And then, here we go. Oh, gosh, don't get me going. I don't know. I'm going to say 37 Ford, 36 Ford.
Yeah, it's a 30 is it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's got the teardrop headlights.
Well, the trick to that is that the crease that's down the fenders, I believe that's the same year model as Ron Stein's.
37.
Yeah.
Hey, I got one right.
You did. Nice work.
But it's got a Hemi.
Yeah.
Which is highly unusual because so many people with
the
these
LS in it.
street rods put these small block Chevys or a big block Chevy in it, and to have a Hemi in it, look at the front end work on that.
That's pretty.
That is gorgeous. Look at the front grille as well.
And you
it's
can
a good
tell
suicide doors.
It's a good thing that they don't have curb stops there in the parking lot.
Well, it's bagged.
That won't work on that.
It's bagged.
Yeah. And, oh, my gosh, is that beautiful? But you got to think how many hours, thousands of hours worth of work was put into this car to create that interior, the dash, the line of the dash and the door coming across, putting the suicide doors on it as well.
Nice.
That's one of those cars that took years to get
easily.
to this point.
And look at the flip flop on the paint.
The pearl color on the paint with the gold in the pearl.
It's got a paper plate on it.
Yeah.
It's available for sale, or he just bought it.
One of the other.
What a car! What a beautiful custom car that
plated
is.
it to drive it down.
Well, I'll tell you what. That's an award winner there.
Yeah.
Big time. Yeah. Beautiful car. Okay.
Here's you another 69 Camaro.
Yeah.
60. It's swing around front a little bit. And it, too, has a LS. And LS seems to be the popular engine of choice because it's such an easy install for most vehicles.
Well, and they make installation kits for almost every car known to man.
Relatively inexpensive, and they're just a plug and play.
Well, you got to think. They're so easy to find because they're in every Chevrolet pickup truck from 79 or 99
even a crate
today. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, this one's caged up as well. So
you should put one in your van.
It'd probably run better if I put one in. It'd run longer if I put one in my van. I wouldn't have all the issues I'm having with the fuel system on it now.
This one here's a race car. I mean, it's got a roll cage in it.
Got a shifter.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful car. That's very well done as well.
The only thing that we're not able to do is hear it run. I'm hoping that it's got some really heavy lope to the engine.
Oh, I would imagine so. I'd like to hear the big block run that we saw just a couple of seconds ago.
The big Hemi?
Yeah. No, well, no, the
454?
Yeah. Well, beautiful car. And when you look at the back of that car and you see the black insert between the taillights, that was called the Burger insert. So the ones that came from Burger Chevrolet, they had painted that inset there between the taillights black in all of those cars, and that was their identifier as a dealer modified car.
Wow. Did not know that.
And again, I'm going to say a 30s something Ford truck and 50. yeah. With a blower
56.
on it. With a blower on it, yeah. And and that's got the 40. Okay.
40.
And again with the matte black interior and the blood red, or matte black exterior and the blood red interior. Again, very well done car. When you go bring a car to a show like this, and they're judged shows, and you got to think the judges at Woody's show are all the other people with their cars.
Right.
He doesn't bring in the judges that go to Autorama. The people who get to judge your car are the people who have their cars in the show in different categories.
Your peers in the industry.
Right. So, what a compliment it is for them to. Oh, look at the sedan.
I know.
The delivery sedan.
That's nice. You guys down there, I want you to hold that for a minute. We're going to cut away here, take a quick break. We're going to do Conrad's Car Clinic, and we'll be back down there with you at the top of the hour. So stay with us. And for all of you watching at home, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. If you're listening on a podcast, thank you as well. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
If Baby could talk, she'd say a lot. You'd know what she's thinking and what makes her happy. But unfortunately, Baby can't talk or remind you you're the one taking her to daycare today. And she won't speak up if you drive straight to work like any other day and never think to look in the backseat. Every year, dozens of kids die from heat stroke in cars. No one is perfect, so set a reminder and always look before you lock. Where's Baby? Paid for by NHTSA.
Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching in real time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Real Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inwheeltime.com.
Welcome back to the In Wheel Time Car Show. So glad that you can join us. My dog is over here and trying to make a nest as to where she needs to sleep or take a nap, and she unplugged the light. But that's just what she does for a living. But anyway, thanks for joining us on today's In Wheel Time Car Show. We're live down there at the Woody's Waterfront Car Show at the Topwater Grill in San Leon, Texas. But right now, what we're going to do is Conrad's going to have his car clinic, and today talking about belts or belt if it's a serpentine. Oh, sorry. Here, there you go.
If you give me my mic, yeah.
I know, I'm sorry.
It's a matter of checking your belts, and it's something you can do quite easily is pop the hood and check your belts. Now, when you talk about some of the older cars, you have what's called a V belt. So it's one belt drives one pulley on the car, and it's all driven off the crankshaft. But most cars since about the late 80s, early 90s have one belt that does everything. So it's a serpentine belt. The older cars, I've got 3 belts on my Cutlass because one drives power steering, one drives water pump, and one drives AC.
Yep.
So the newer cars, which is predominantly what you're going to be looking at, all have serpentine belts out. So that one belt drives all of the components under the hood: water pump, power steering, air conditioning, and if it's got any emissions control items on it that are driven by it as well, it will drive those. So you want to check that belt, and what you're looking for on that belt is the tension, and on the tension, it's just a matter of kind of feeling it a little bit, pushing on it and see if it's tight, see if it's, as long as it doesn't have a lot of slop in it. But one of the things you can do is you can look at the tensioner on that. So in there's kind of a spring-loaded wheel that pushes on the belt to keep the correct tension on it. Well, on that on the arm of the spring-loaded wheel is a mark. And then on the body of the tensioner is another mark, and that mark needs to align. Those 2 marks need to align together, because when the one mark on the arm gets outside of the mark on the tensioner, it tells you that the belt is stretched so much that the tensioner can't keep it tight anymore, and it's time to replace that belt. Most people are going to tell you to replace that serpentine belt in the 60 to 100,000 mile range. Pretty simple to do. All cars under the hood have a road map of how that belt goes back on. And in most cases, you can do it with a big, long wrench. Loosen the tensioner up, take the belt off, put the new belt on, and away you go. Check your serpentine belt, because if it fails, you're going to get towed in.
You are. And
because you're going to lose air conditioning, you're going to lose power steering, and you can lose the water pump.
Don't some of the belts, these serpentine belts also, some of them drive the camshaft?
Not the serpentine belt. There are belts, but those are inside the engine that drive the camshafts.
Okay. All right. Well, I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay.
All right.
Top of the hour.
It is the top of the hour. Stay with us. From Studio A in Texas, USA, it's the award-winning In Wheel Time Car Show today, live from Woody's Waterfront Car Show at the Topwater Grill in San Leon, Texas, in Galveston Bay. Mr. Mars, David Ainsley down there. We'll go to them here in just a second. Inside our new car showroom this hour, Mr. Mars is going to do the Cadillac CT4. We'll give you an in-depth review of that. Plus, we'll have This Week in Automotive History and the stories making auto news headlines. All that just ahead on today's In Wheel Time Car Show for Saturday, September 26th, 2020. We thank you so much for joining us today, along with Mike out of This World Mars down there at San Leon, Texas.
Topwater Grill.
Yep. Topwater Grill. And David Ainsley down there. Jeff Zekin sitting over here. Mr. Conrad DeLong sitting there, or King Conrad DeLong, as we like to refer to him. King Conrad. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us today. It is quite a beautiful day for a car show. And y'all guys want to take another look down there?
Let's take a peek and see.
Okay. All right. So
they're showing us a '65 Mustang. It says 289 on the fender there, and very well done. Lots of chrome on the car. Set of aftermarket custom wheels. Love the striping on it, and the two-tone interior, which is not factory, but the two-tone interior looks real good on this car. The low back, which is very typical of the 60s cars with the low back bucket seats. It wasn't until later in the late 60s and 70s where the bucket seats went with a high back.
Did they actually offer a center console in those early Mustangs? Because the ones
believe
that
they did, but not that one.
Yeah, not that big.
I understand.
Would this be considered a resto mod?
Yes. Yeah, I would call that a resto mod.
Look at
I think
that.
most of these are.
Yeah, look at that.
So
that's what is that, a 70 Malibu or so?
If I can look at the headlights, I can tell you kind of what year it is.
Kathy would love that.
That's probably a 71 or a 72, and I can't tell the difference between the two of them.
Listen
but
to
I know
marker lights.
when they have two lights, it's a 71 or 72, and it's got 4 quad headlights. It's a 70, and it's also got a big block in it with headers and stuff on it. No air conditioning, so that's got to be a winter-only driver. Power brakes, and I believe it by this time discs were standard on it. And this is a 71 Chevelle. And I'm assuming, because he says 71 Chevelle, that this is a tribute car of an SS.
Right.
But look at the seats and
Nice.
the 4-speed in that thing.
Corbo
I bet you
seats,
got to
I think?
hold. Yeah.
Cobra or Recaro?
Don't get me going. But you got to hold on tight with a big block to jump on that thing. And the interior's well finished out. Got some big subwoofers, so you can
rattle the license plate.
There you go.
Rattle the windows on it as well. Okay, now you're going to lose me completely because I am not very good at.
We'll have to see the window placard on this one to find out exactly what it is. It
Did you
looks
see the
like
way
a
the exhaust
model.
system came through the back?
Yeah,
of
I
it?
see that.
It's a Model A of some
And
sort.
a small block Chevy, and I'm not real sure even if it is a. So it's a Chevy Coupe.
31.
Okay, so how unusual, because so many people do the Fords back then, and this one being a Chevrolet itself is a rare breed.
Now, is this
of
over
that.
over the rail?
Yeah. And look at the old school. I'm assuming that's the blinker turn signal up there on top. How old school is that?
Yeah.
Is that what that is? That's the turn signal indicator?
Yeah, I believe so. Well, that's the selector, the turn signal.
It's from like an old
left and
truck
turning.
almost.
Right.
That's neat.
And you can see the modern touches inside the interior, but you can also see the nostalgic touches inside the interior. And those seats probably
Like a Corvette
Yeah, I was
seats.
going to say probably taken out of a production vehicle and set and reskinned and set in there. But the seats look gorgeous. And again, anything. I'm just a huge fan of blood red interiors on vehicles. I think it really sets off a show car to have that. And then here we go with a C3 Corvette. And I'm going to call that Daytona Sunset Orange Metallic with the two-tone interior on it as well.
See, I would just call it orange.
Yeah, well, I know, but it's Corvette.
Is it a 75? Don't really know.
I
and
don't
it's
get
certainly
me
not
going.
a stock
No, it
motor.
is a 75. Good call, Don.
Nice.
Good call.
Well, he was in that.
And then, again, a
I've been
small
around the block a time or
with,
two.
with air conditioning on it. And that's not factory air conditioning compressor, but it's got the AC on it. And, again, gorgeous car. Actually quite well done. And 75, when you look at the front bumper on that, that was when they went with the 5-mile-an-hour bumper, so they put that plastic cover and stuff on it.
Terrible.
Urethane.
You didn't like it?
Oh, my
you
God.
like the
What a
old Nerf bars of
No,
the
not necessarily.
pre-gens?
I mean, I appreciate that, but those bumpers were terrible. If you wanted to do that car and actually paint it and actually show it, the only way to really do it is to go with a plastic bumper, a hard plastic bumper.
I had a
here we
car
go.
painted like that, and they had to put a chemical into the paint to adhere
to
the
make
rubber.
it flexible.
Yep.
To make it flexible.
Yep.
So here we have a big block Corvette C3, and it is a
425 horsepower, 427.
Yeah. Is it?
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, that's another hold-on tight car because the engine went faster than the brakes could stop it, even though they were race cars. And, that does have the factory – I don't know if it's factory, but that does have the cowl induction because you can see the air the foam for the air breather coming from the hood and stuff.
Yep.
And quite modified when you look at it as well. Not only the headers and the integral alternator. Again, I'm a huge fan of the side pipes on cars, and the knockoff wheels. Though I don't think those are real knockoffs. I think it's 66. The
It's a
knockoff
Roadster with a 4-speed.
It's the way to live.
Well, yeah, but I mean, knockoff wheels too. Oh my God! Well, the wheels alone are worth thousands of dollars.
I think by this time those weren't true knockoffs. But there was a knockoff where all you did is you beat that propeller on the wheel to get them off. Now there's actually
propeller.
Did you see where the seat belts were on the console? They were like a suggestion.
Yeah, well, they have they have like a little sling for them to fit in. A suggestion.
See,
yeah. Well, in a big block and a 4-speed, I think you want to wear that, and a convertible, I think you want to wear the seatbelts. And it's got the old wood steering wheel as well. And then we looked at that, though. Yeah, we looked at the white one a little bit before.
Well, let's go back there.
And how customized it is. The louvered hood, the louvers on the side.
But the front end of that is the
key. Yeah,
is the draw.
Looks the whole like grill and stuff that they put
the
on
Mako Shark look.
Exactly.
Very Mako-ish, and you can see the headlights behind it because this does not have the pop-up headlights, so they run the headlights through the grill on this. But actually, kind of a cool little car.
Just look at how the fender wells are expanded.
A little bit flared out.
Yep.
And no hood open, so we're not real sure what size the engine is. But again, who doesn't like a C3 Corvette convertible? Everybody likes it, small block, big block, it doesn't matter. I'd probably take one with a 4-cylinder in it just because it looked cool to drive. Any of the C3s are. And then here we have so this one's a little bit more of a race car. He's got the Hoosier race tires, and again, the side pipes on it. He has the Stinger, what's called a Stinger hood on it, and it says 64.
Which
64 wouldn't have been an original Stinger hood, but I'm sure he's using this to try and get a little air into the engine. And I'm going to say that is probably a full boogie track car. That this car does spend some time at the track. As you can see how the cage is that's in there, that it is actually a true 6-point cage, and the disconnect for the battery right there on the edge. And I imagine that hood scoop is functional on this one, trying to get some air into the engine, where on the production ones, the hood scoop was as well functional, but this one's probably just trying to push air in. So you can see I'm assuming that's a transmission cooler sitting right there.
That's a race car.
That is pure race car. That is track capable.
Do you have one of those on your truck where it says tow?
Yeah, it needs to say tow.
Well, we need to get you some stickers.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Toe here, toe here, push here, toe here.
Except for you, I think we'd change the name to TOE instead of TOW.
And then, 65, 66.
I
C10
was
truck.
never a big fan of that model year with the
60. Hey, I was right.
With the turn 65, with the turn signals indicators up there on the top of the hood. Never was a big fan of that, but. The truck there is cool.
Can you imagine how?
And they have become, you think about these back then, they were just work trucks. Now they've become the collectible trucks, and people are doing this kind of work to them.
Can you imagine how hard it is to find that hood with those lights in it?
That isn't damaged, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then, of course, it's got to be lowered and bagged and all of the fancy stuff. It's not got a big, doesn't have a big notch. Gunship Racing.
Oh.
That's got to be a Texas thing. Oh, look at the in-wheel time machine here.
Look at that.
That's Mr. Mars in-wheel time machine.
Recently purchased. I don't think that's more than, about a little over a year old?
Oh, it's more than that.
Uh-oh. Stop. Let's talk to the owner.
Oh, no.
442, 70. I'd have to look at the
I think we're losing the signal.
71,
We may be losing
72. Slide in. So it's a gold engine, which means it's a 350. Now, Oldsmobiles back then, the color of the engine designated the size of the engine because they were all pretty much looked the same. Gold was a 350, bronze was a 400, red would have been a 425, and then later I think the reds were or the 425s were kind of a dark.
What was it?
455, and the 455 would have been a metallic blue.
Right.
And front disc brakes.
Have you seen this car before?
No, I haven't seen this one. For me, anything with a yellow car. Now, he's got upgraded seats and stuff in it with velour. I bet you that's better in the heat of the summer. And
that steering wheel was in that Corvette, the same one, because I had one in my Olds.
That is the N. Somebody will tell you it's like an N41.
Right,
that is a factory steering wheel.
Right,
that was an option, but it was standard on 442. Oh, did it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And back then, that was quite a unique wheel for the market. And if you slide around the back and let me see the taillights, I can tell you exactly what year it is.
He'll show you all the parts in the trunk.
It is a 72 because it's got the separated taillights on it. Hey, they got junk in the trunk too.
But it's not like yours.
Oh, mine is piled to the top. I almost got to jump up and down.
Why would you tell people that? Why would you admit to that?
Because I called him out on it.
Well, it's also because that's where I hide all the stuff I bought.
You
for
keep
the car.
saying that he hides it from Angela. He doesn't hide
she's listening
anything.
to the show.
He doesn't hide anything from her. It's just an excuse for him to put all of his crap back there.
Yep. Oh, and look, a 75, 76
yeah.
Chevy Impala.
Nice.
That is a land yacht. That thing.
Ball
I think the headlights.
shot caller.
New York
20-inch blades on my Impala.
The headlights are in a different zip code than the taillights in this car, and it's a coupe. Cool car.
Yeah.
But boy, I'll tell you, that is a land yacht.
So it's a unique color too.
I always like those big two-door coupes like that.
Oh yeah.
And then after a period of time, the doors sag, and you got to get the doors adjusted,
Absolutely.
shimmed up.
Well, there was actually a little brass,
Bushings,
little brass
or
bushings in the
grommet or whatever.
grommet inside the door hinges that you could replace on them. And then I'm assuming 65, 64 and a half, 65
A lot of
Mustang.
convertibles down there today.
Well, it's a nice day.
And that's pretty much a pure. There's the factory. That's the factory. That's most of the factory console. Looked like it had cup holders on top of it, but pure. Is that 289 or does it say 260? 289. Oh, it's a hypo as well. So they offered a couple of different V8 engines back in the first generation of Mustangs, and the 289 hypo was one of them. So a little bit more performance out of it, and gorgeous car.
Let's take a break here real quick, and we'll be right back with more from Woody's Waterfront car show down there at the Topwater Grill in San Leon. Stay with us.
Are you one of those people who thinks it's okay to drive stoned? I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You end up driving below the speed limit? It's no big deal, right? Wrong. The truth is, your reaction times slow way down when you're high. You not only put yourself in danger, but everyone around you. Talk about a buzzkill. Stop kidding yourself. It's not okay to drive high. If you've been using marijuana in any form, do not get behind the wheel. If you feel different, you drive different. Drive high, get a DUI. Paid for by NHTSA.
A social distancing tip.
While the CDC urges you to avoid close contact, like hugging or shaking hands, there are other non-physical ways to say hello. Wave, wink, use sign language, salute, smile, give the peace sign, throw up an air high five, do jazz hands. Remember, stay a minimum of 6 feet or 2 arms length away from others and stay home if you can. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part because we're all #alone together. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the In Wheel Time Car Show here on this beautiful, gorgeous Saturday in Texas. And we're going to go back to the Topwater Grill and Woody's Waterfront Car Show here in just a second. We do have some, what do you got, events?
Yeah, national events.
Yeah.
You know, and Woody's Topwater Grill is, I'm going to say that's becoming a national event. It's part of the In-Wheel Time Nation, at least.
That's right.
This weekend is Good Guys at Lone Star Nationals up in Fort Worth, Texas at the racetrack. That is a huge event that's going to have, you know, probably 600-700 street rods at it, and that's started yesterday and it goes through Sunday. And again, Mustang Fest in Corpus Christi is October 2nd, which is be next weekend, and then November 21st through the 22nd is the Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals in Rosemont, Illinois. Have you heard what's going on with SEMA? Are they going to do SEMA this year? Is SEMA going to be off?
I don't think SEMA is going to happen. I think that because October would be it, and
right.
I just don't see that happening.
And then Long Beach, California is the Japanese Classic Car Show, so the Japanese domestic market, those JDM cars, quite collectible vehicles in themselves, and California, Southern California is kind of the world for it. So if you're into that generation of Japanese domestic market cars, that show in Long Beach is definitely going to be the one to go to. The Houston Exotic Auto Festival is going to be down here, and that's going to be November 8th,
Where's
Sunday.
that?
I believe that is going to be over at, oh gosh, what's the name of that whole complex there?
Highland Village?
No, it's Beltway 8 and Memorial.
Beltway 8 and Memorial.
City Center?
City Center. So, and that's always a good show. The National Dub Show Tour is going to be in Dallas.
Awesome.
He's going to be in Dallas on November 22nd.
You going to go to that, Jeff? No. You're going to go to that, aren't you?
Maybe.
You're lying because you said you're going to go.
The international car shows, those are kind of all on pause as well. So the LA show, I know it's got on schedule, but I don't know if it's going to go off or not because with COVID.
Well, did we tell everybody about this year's Autorama is canceled?
Correct. This year's Autorama was canceled, and they're going to rerun it. We'll run it again next year. And again, this is all COVID related. Why they're slowing
basically
stuff down.
Most of the indoor stuff that I am aware of has been canceled.
Indoor with more than 10 people.
At least through the 1st of January. And we have not heard yet from the Houston Auto Dealers Association and the Houston Auto Show, which is typically in March.
January.
January. We don't know whether that's going to be canceled, but my guess is it will be because it's an indoor show.
And then Formula One, the Russian Grand Prix is this weekend. The Grand Prix of Indianapolis, running the road course, is going to be next weekend. The Indy cars. NASCAR is going to be in Las Vegas tomorrow. They're going to be in Talladega next week. IMSA this weekend is at the Mid-Ohio Road Course. And then NHRA is Gator Nationals are going on right now. Go, Erica. Drive that back. Oh, I don't know if I'm allowed
Drive that bee back.
Am I allowed to say that?
Bleep.
And then they come to Dallas on the 18th of October, and then the next weekend they come to Houston on the 25th.
Yeah.
So lots of
and
cool
I don't
stuff
know
going
what the restrictions are on getting tickets to go to the Houston race. I think that you'll have to go to NHRA.com
and read the rules.
Or HoustonRacewayPark.com. And find out. I think you somehow have to be some sort of an NHRA member. And speaking of NHRA, I read this week that Coca-Cola, makers of Mellow Yellow, have pulled out of NHRA as the title sponsor.
Youch. That's going to be painful.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's going to be extremely painful.
And that there's been some sort of lawsuit now.
Oh, really?
Between NHRA has sued Coca-Cola. It's an ugly, ugly thing.
Did not know about that.
Well, I think COVID's just having its effect on everybody, you know.
Well,
And that was the motto. That was the genre. Leave on yellow or
Yep.
Yeah,
leave on yellow. And Erica's going to be racing this weekend.
Go on yellow. Yeah, well,
it's okay.
No wonder they're being sued.
All right, we're going to take another break, and we're going to go back down to Woody's in just a sec.
911, what's your emergency?
There's a train that just hit a car.
Sir, what is your location? Look around for a street sign, sir.
It's 8th and Orchard. 8th and Orchard.
Okay, very good. 8th and Orchard. Sir, help is on the way.
Why would he do that? The train still doesn't stop. You have to get there now.
At a railway crossing, even if the engineer sees you and hits the brakes, it can take a mile for the train to stop. And for you, that's too late. Stop. Trains can't. Paid for by NHTSA.
Advance Auto Parts and CarQuest present the Gary Merrill Memorial Pro Modified Race with a purse-busting $7,000 to the winner. Saturday night, September 26th at Houston Motorsports Park. Gates open at 5. The commemorative Air Force flyover and racing at 6. Wear your mask. We've got social distancing and sanitizer. Enjoy dollar hot dogs and dollar beer. Advance tickets online at NASCARHouston.com. Saturday night, September 26th. Gates at 5. Racing at 6. Houston Motorsports Park. The $7,000 Gary Merrill Pro Modified Race. Bring the kids.
And by the way, if you didn't catch that race is tonight at 6 o'clock. Yeah.
Are you going to be the pace car again?
Yeah. I share pace car duties with a guy named Jay who's in the Corvette Club.
You know, I rode with Don in the pace car duty, and it's unique. It's different.
Scary?
Well, not really scary, but it's intimidating. You know, when all these big monster cars are coming up behind you.
And you're in the way.
And you got your head hanging out the window trying to shoot a video. Yeah, it could be a little intimidating.
It was fun. Okay, well, let's head back down to Woody's Waterfront Car Show down at Top Order Grill in San Leon, Texas. And because we're having some audio issues down there today, Conrad's been kind of doing the play-by-play.
So this is a 32 Model A. I believe it's a Model A, and I'm not real sure what the open roof is called. I don't think that's a Tudor, but you can see it's got a small block Chevrolet in it. But
no, it's a Tudor. It's 2 doors.
Two doors.
It's a Tudor.
But how cool is that? And you know, an very upgraded interior in it. That all of that wasn't there. But look at the way the cloth roof comes off as a convertible.
That's neat.
But it still stays with the window frames and stuff. A lot of real detail work in that for the wood and the window frames and stuff. How chromed out the convertible top piece is. Yeah, that's a gorgeous car.
That is. That's nice.
Very, very well done. And
Texas plate.
And again, if they'll show me the front, usually they have a license plate that tells me what.
I don't think that one had.
Again,
it just said Texas.
It's another 32 Ford Highboy. But it might be a different year. And this was kind of the car that lit hot rodding up back in the 50s.
Yep.
Is they took those older Fords, they took the fenders off of them, put a big engine in them.
That one doesn't look like it's channeled.
No, and this is the ZZ430, so that's a crate motor from Chevrolet that fits right inside that they'll plug in there, and everything kind of comes plug and play on it. What a neat color. I'm assuming that's kind of for lack of a better phrase, and probably the owner of it's going to get mad at me. I'm going to call it Battleship Gray.
No, it's more of a green.
Is it green?
That's a tint green to me.
Oh, I'm colorblind anyhow.
It could be. To me, it looks green.
But what a classic street rod this is, with fenderless, with the big fat tires in the back, and it's all engine, and very lightweight as well. And 32, hey! I was there, 32 Ford Highboy. I got another one right. And then it's sister car with the roof on it.
There you go.
The difference between the two of them. And again, when you look at these, this fender off look was the style of the day of the 50s hot rod. So that nostalgic style has kind of hung out there for a long time. Interesting way. It looks like they have a Pinto gas tank on it.
No, the other one had that too.
The Pinto is right there in the back. The gas tank is right included in the back bumper.
Oh, I got you.
Exploder gas tank.
Well, no, this has got a frame around it, so you're good.
Well, it was better than the Pinto.
Yeah, not a problem.
Oh, don't be touching the guy's car. I'd kill you. But again, what a beautiful car. Look at the interior. Oh, now this has got a burgundy interior.
Nice.
Really race seats and a cage.
Yeah.
And very, very well done. I like that. That is cool. And I'm assuming, I don't know, maybe this is more gray where the one you showed had the first one was a little greener.
Me, Don, what color do you think? To me, it looked green. The other one looked green.
The other one, yeah. Well, when you look at it across the hood, there is a green to this one, where this one is maybe a little more battleship gray. And, all of this car could be steel or it could be plastic. And then, of course, the 6th-gen Camaros. Interesting C6 Corvette. Interesting hood on it there.
Yeah.
That's not a factory hood on it, but as well with the purple center stripe on it. And is that another Myers Manx there next to it? Again, I don't know enough. Now this one looks to be truly on a Volkswagen. On a Volkswagen chain. My Tutu. Don't mess with my Tutu. Hey, Don, this car is for you.
That's the in-wheel time ride now. And it's red. Matches your pumps.
Yeah. Those Myers Manx back from the 60s, the original ones, are worth a fortune.
Yes.
And back in the day, there was no big deal. I mean, people had them. It was just basically a fiberglass tub that just sat on the top of a Volkswagen chassis, Beetle chassis.
Well, it was a West Coast thing, wasn't it? Mainly West Coast.
Well, that's where it originated from, but there are lots of them here.
And this one looks to be, unlike the previous one, this one looks to be a body on a Volkswagen chassis. And how cool is that? How nicely done engine on that.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't take a lot of engine to make those a lot of fun. The reason they went with the Volkswagen engine because they were air-cooled and you didn't have to worry about damaging radiator while you're out there on the beach.
Well, not only that, but also the weight distribution of that thing, because this thing was known to fly over once in a while some of the sand dunes.
All right. Look at that.
Well, what's interesting on that, if you notice, that's a V6. That is not a V8. That is a V6.
You can tell by the header pipes.
Right.
And it's got cutouts on it.
Yeah.
And it's a 26 Ford Model T. Beautiful car as well. And look at the variety of cars that are coming down to Woody's, from the 32 Fords to the highly customized
Pro mods.
And
late model,
the nostalgic street rods with the high boy that we saw just there.
There are a lot of cars. I would say the majority of the cars I've never seen before at any of these cruise-ins or car shows.
People are bringing their mannequins down.
I'm going to call this Accord, but I don't know if this is or not. Yeah, it is.
That's a good call.
That's a coffin nose Accord. Now look at this car. And think of the innovation that is in this car.
Back in the day.
So this is probably a late 30s Accord. Hideaway headlights, which was a unique thing. It was also front-wheel drive, and you could have, and I don't know, I think with the outside pipes on it, would have been a supercharged car as well.
36.
So 36 Accord.
Westchester.
And how awesome is that? I didn't realize they did pop-up windows on it as well. So that was the way you air conditioned the cars. You lifted the window up and let some air through.
I'd like to know
doors.
what something like that is worth.
Oh,
well, this one's a little modified because that's not a factory interior. You can see he's got air conditioning in it. Those are not factory seats. But how cool is it to have a street rod 36 Accord, which means that it's got the look of a cool, older, classic car, but the power and performance of a new car.
Should be a mod.
Yeah. And then look at the way the hood pops open on this.
What year is the crane?
I don't know. But Yankee Doodle, everybody stand and salute the flag.
There you go.
And the Texas flag as well. Thank you very much. America. And again, look at the what you call before the flop on the
this thing is beautiful.
Yeah, that is well done.
Yes, it is.
With a camel leather interior.
Nice.
And I'm assuming a small block Chevy.
Well, it's yellow, so it's right in your
wheelhouse.
Yellow?
You call that yellow? I'd call that orange. Oh, here we go. with the old Chevy truck, and don't get me going on the year. I don't know years of Chevy trucks. And look at the air cleaner on it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a 49. She's so fine, my 49.
There you go.
454. That air cleaner is an air cleaner that was used, I believe, by Cadillac and by Buick way back in the early 60s.
The Buick Wildcat engine, I think.
The first induction, yeah.
And, highly customized. You can tell by looking at it, as well as the power brakes and stuff. And the interior. Oh, okay. So he's got a little flip up there in the back for, I'm assuming that's to show off the suspension. But, again, you go back to these. Some of these trucks were probably pulled off of somebody's farm somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
And turned into a custom truck. And that is beautiful.
You can't go to the 49 Ford showroom.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to go right back down there to Woody's Waterfront Car Show at the Topwater Grill in San Leon, Texas, right after this.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching in real time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Real Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inwheeltime.com.
This is the award-winning Car Talk Show In Wheel Time, your weekly go-to all things automotive place, along with Mike Out of This World Mars down at Woody's Waterfront Car Show, and David Ainsley, who's with him, and King Conrad DeLong right there, and Jeff Zekin over there, Don Armstrong here. Glad you could join us on this Saturday. And we are actually down there at Woody's and doing some great stuff down there. Oh, my gosh. There you go, Conrad.
Yeah, make my heart beat fast.
Yeah.
He kept hitting me in the arm to show this picture.
So this is a 70 model 442 with the W25 hood on it.
Nice.
Which is the outside air induction, and that was
W25 is an option,
that's the
code.
yeah. And those hood locks that you see on the front corner of it, those were factory. And the reason that is a fiberglass hood that actually has a steel frame built underneath it.
Huh.
And
Why did they do that?
Because it could get so much air inside of there, it could lift the hood and damage the hood.
Yeah.
So they put the hood pins on it that locked in place to keep the front of the hood down.
In addition to the normal lock.
Automatic transmission. It's got the factory steering wheel for a 442.
Is that like your interior?
Yeah, exactly like my interior.
It's a tilt wheel, too.
It's a tilt, yeah. And I needed a tilt wheel, and that is a bone stock interior.
Nice.
Gorgeous car. It's not a W30, but it doesn't matter. You go back in the day,
What's the difference between that and a W30?
Well, a W30, first off, it'd say W30 on the side. The inner fender panels would be red.
Yeah.
But the camshaft was different in a W30.
So they had a different motor.
So the motor was more powerful and way underrated in the Oldsmobile as well.
What kind of motor is that? That's a Camaro. That's a different car. Sorry.
I've got WD-40 at the house.
And, who doesn't like a Camaro or a Corvette convertible? There you go, Don. That's not unlike yours. I guess that's a C.
Yeah, that's nice.
LS3 is probably a C6.
Yeah, mine's a C5.
Yeah, C6. Mm-hmm. But again, convertibles are the way to go in October in Houston. I don't know how much of a convertible you want in the middle of July and August. It could be a little bit hot.
Pardon me, but I do have a actual Targa roof on mine, so you can take the panel off and make it almost a convertible.
Right.
Do you?
Yeah, he did last weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, let me ask you about this.
67 Chevelle.
Right. That Corvette didn't have the Targa option. It had like a windscreen behind us.
That's to minimize the air turbulence inside the vehicle.
Gotcha.
Kind of slows that.
There it is again.
Because the air would pull over the back of the car and spin inside behind the windshield, so that kind of blocks that, kind of slows down the air turbulence.
My hair would get in my face. And
both of them.
Yeah.
Both of the hairs.
Both of them.
Now, I'm a fan. I actually had a 67 Chevelle in my college years, and again, a fun car. Mine was a big block 4-speed car, and this is an automatic car, but again, 67 Chevelle, very classic lines on the car. That's a factory hood on it with the waffle cutters is what I call them.
Yep.
And again, here's a car with the serpentine belt on it as well from. That's a custom serpentine belt, not from the factory, because that would have had V belts from the factory. Very beautiful.
But they make conversion kits so you can do a serpentine.
Yeah, and that's what this is. And depending on the year, make, and model, they make a perfect fit conversion kit.
And those are
to
probably
put those on. Nice set of wheels.
Performance pulleys on that.
Oh yeah. Upgraded disc brakes. Got some fatties on the back. Don't know if it's tubbed, but very well could have mini tubs on it to do that. Rear disc brakes, which is definitely an upgrade on it. Pretty car.
It is.
It looks like it's just a row of all red cars. And then here we are with is that an anniversary edition?
I believe so.
Yeah, with the silver and gray.
Right. So that would have been 78.
Oh, Don, you are so good.
He's good.
You got them Corvettes down.
It's in his blood.
Well, I'm not good for a lot of things, but sometimes I can pick out a Corvette. Had no horsepower, of course. I know that for a fact because my 77 had none.
And this one's a shifter car, which is unusual.
Yeah.
Nice.
A lot of Corvettes would have been automatics. Now, all that wood is custom. I don't think Corvette did wood.
No, it did not have wood. As a matter of fact, mine was an L82 engine, and I think it had a whopping 175 horsepower or something.
Hey, but it was still a Corvette.
It was.
That was what made it cool.
Mm-hmm. And I thought it was cool. I liked it.
And,
all right. So where else are we going to go? We're going to walk over here to this pickup truck?
oh, gosh, look at that.
That's a beaut.
Don't get me going on what it is.
Looks like
I
a long
have no
bed.
idea.
It looks like a long bed from that distance, but it's probably not.
And it's got the pirate's chest in it.
Yeah.
Why are there only 25 letters in the pirate alphabet? Because everybody has an R. Oh, that's a Hudson pickup truck.
A Hudson.
How cool is that? Now, I think, isn't it Randy at Paint House has a Hudson pickup truck as well?
Yes. I think that he did one for somebody.
Yeah, he did one for somebody. And again, the upgraded interior, but that looks to be the factory dash on it.
Yeah.
But it definitely upgraded seats. But a Hudson pickup truck, what a rare
I didn't even know that Hudson made pickup trucks until Randy brought out that root beer brown one. I didn't have any clue.
Yeah, what a collectible this is to have one at the show, much less to have one in general. Because I have no idea what the production numbers would have been on a Hudson.
Wouldn't you imagine those door handles and roll-up handles are probably electric? Because you can get the electric conversions for those that make it look like a crank. But
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I imagine.
Very well could be. That takes a little bit of work. But,
and also the thickness of the door, too, for the motors.
Okay. And I wonder if the...
oh, there you go.
There we go. Okay. So... And again, the okay. So he's got a. I'm assuming that's a
2.9 liter.
I'm assuming that's a. Don't get me going. I'm going to say a Ford, but I don't know. I'm going to say a Ford.
Air conditioning. There's a lot of work. It's going
There's a lot
into
going
that
on
truck.
in there.
Yeah. Cool front end. I mean, and that would have been, that teardrop headlight on it.
And the chrome.
And all that chrome's got to be not only expensive, it's going to be very unique. So you really want to take good care of it. And both fenders have a tire on them. So yeah. How cool is that? Very, very unusual for a Hudson. I've never seen one at a show before other than the one Randy built, and I've seen that in person, but I've also seen quite a few videos on it. Well, thanks, Mike. We appreciate you staying with us and showing us what you can down there at Woody's Waterfront Car Show.
We'll go back to them if you want.
Yeah. Well, his phone kind of timed out, and that's why we got his name up there on the screen.
Is that what it was?
I think so.
Yes.
So a couple of news items. Did you hear that Chevrolet had to put a stop sale on the
Again.
C8 Corvettes.
Again.
Yeah, you know why they put a stop sale on it?
I didn't hear that second one. I heard the first one with the hood.
Well, now they have a stop sale because the car won't stop because the electronic brakes on it have a problem. So, again, those people who are waiting for their Corvettes to come in, the brake-by-wire has an issue, so they put a stop sale on a car that won't
That's
stop.
comforting.
Yeah.
Parachute.
They'll get it corrected. I'm imagining it's probably more of a software issue than anything else. And, you know, they do this from time to time, but I know just all these Corvette owners or buyers are just chomping at the bit to get their C8s. And what a gorgeous car the C8 is. So that was one of my bits of news I had.
Well, thank you. I have some news, too. You're afraid to even ask me, aren't you?
No,
but it doesn't
not at all.
have anything to do with something bizarre like I'd usually come up with.
I'm disappointed now.
California planning to ban the sale of new gasoline-powered passenger cars and trucks
That's
starting
amazing.
in 2035.
Don't move to Texas. Stay in California. If you're dumb enough to elect them, stay in California. Don't bring your idiocy to Texas.
I should have got a close-up shot of that. Can we do that again?
Wow. Okay.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah. You clearly
don't hold back.
There's a little anger thing going on there.
Well, both my kids live in California, and I can't believe how.
All because of, as he says here, to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, according to Governor Gavin Newsom. Newsom's order labeled elimination of gasoline.
Buddy. Easy.
Newsom's order labeled the elimination of gasoline-powered vehicles a goal and a target. After his office said earlier his order would require the sale of nothing but zero-emission passenger vehicles starting in 2035. Okay, well, good luck to you out there on all that.
Yes, because you're all going to be afoot or taking mass trans.
Yeah. Rolls-Royce is developing a standalone electric car, finally, to prepare for the closing of some city centers to combustion engine cars. At least 20 major cities globally have said they plan to ban diesel or gasoline-powered vehicles from their centers by 2030. Okay.
Makes me wonder how they're going to pull that off. Or they're just going to go with mass trans. You know, you get within the city limits, there's going to be a big parking lot, and you got to take the bus in or the train in.
You know, Houston really doesn't have, I don't think, a major issue like, for instance, New York City does. We typically don't have stoplight to stoplight parking lots of cars going down the street. It's just not that way.
Do you not drive downtown?
I do drive downtown.
Downtown's a mess during rush hour. Well, rush hour during COVID's been super easy, but before COVID, downtown was
Downtown's not that bad in Houston, Texas.
Well, not compared to L.A. or compared to New York.
That's what I said.
Correct.
Certain times around the med center can be bad.
Yes.
Tesla's CEO, Elon Musk, said Tuesday that the automaker likely will build between 250 and 300,000 Cybertruck pickups annually once the electric vehicle goes into production next year.
Neat.
They're going to have to change the look of that car, that truck.
Well, it's funny you should say that because one of the main reasons that it's got so much press and so much interest is because of the look.
Yeah,
believe it or not.
Why would you want to change it? Why would you?
Because when you look at how can you sit in that truck when you look at it's a four-door, so there's a rear seating compartment.
So pay no attention. They're having a conversation over there.
You're not going to have any headroom.
No, we could switch it to the
You're
three
not
of
going to
us,
have
thank
any
you.
headroom for the rear seat passengers, unless you're a short person. And I guess if you put your kids back there, it doesn't make any difference. But
Well, to Don's point, that that's why there's so much interest is the style.
And I've seen the Rivian as well, which looks more like a traditional pickup truck.
Well, that's the one that's the company that's building the skateboards for other automakers.
Right. That they're going to put their bodies on top of.
That sounded kind of odd. Volkswagen's ID4 battery-powered compact crossover will hit U.S. dealerships late this year with an estimated 250-mile range with its 82-kilowatt-hour battery pack, 3 years of free charging, and a $379 a month lease price to announce its presence. Okay.
So 3 years of free charging, does that mean you have to go to the dealership to get it charged?
I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work.
Yeah, either that or it's a real long extension cord from somewhere.
Funny.
I try.
All right. We're going to make one last trip down to Woody's Waterfront Car Show right after a quick break.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
A social distancing tip.
Putting distance between yourself and others is critical to slowing the spread of coronavirus. So here are ways to stay in contact without the physical contact part. Call, send a text, set up a video conference, post on social media, dedicate a song on the radio. If you have symptoms of fever, dry cough, and shortness of breath, call your healthcare provider before going to their office. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #AloneTogether. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
It's the In Wheel Time Car Show. Thank you very much for joining us. We are live today, and we're going to go back down to Woody's Waterfront Car Show at the Topwater Grill in San Leon, Texas here in just a minute. First, we want to get to Conrad's today, this week in automotive history.
So the first automobile was not built by Henry Ford or Walter Chrysler. The first automobile was built by Charles and Frank Duryea. They were two bicycle makers, and this week in 1893,
I remember that year real.
Yeah, they had produced their first vehicle. So they took a lot of bicycle components and they found a gasoline engine that was used as an irrigation pump and used it to drive the vehicle.
Didn't Orville and Wilbur Wright also do bicycles?
Yes, they did. Yeah. They did. But they made theirs fly.
Yeah.
In 1908, the first factory-built Ford Model T was completed on this day, and it was officially named the Tin Lizzie. And the Model T and its production, assembly line production, was an industry changer because most everything prior to that was built one-on-one, and then Model T was actually moved down a production line, which was very much of an industry leader in that. Ford also, in 1926, Henry Ford introduced the 8-hour, 5-day-a-week work week, and that has become the industry. Well, the standard for work weeks with everybody is a 40-hour work week. In 1932, Ab Jenkins, A-B, not Abe, Ab, went to the Bonneville Salt Flats and completed a 24-hour solo run in a factory Pierce Arrow with a V12 and averaged 112 miles an hour driving around in a circle in the Bonneville Salt Flats. He went 2,700 miles in 24 hours.
That's what he said when he got out of the car after 27 hours.
In 1945, war production halted. And you got to remember, in the early 40s, all of the automobile manufacturers were building war production pieces. So in 1945, the last of the war production was the folks at Pierce Arrow, who were the folks at Packard, and Packard was building the Allison or the Rolls-Royce Merlin V12 engine for the P-51 fighters.
Nice.
And they built their last one this week in 1945. Also in 1945, a lot of Ford stuff here. Henry Ford II, grandson of Henry Ford, he succeeded his father as the president of Ford Motor Company on this week. In 1959, the first Plymouth Valiant was released. Well, the interesting about the Plymouth Valiant...
Nothing interesting about a Plymouth
Has
Valiant.
that thing got a Hemi?
No, it should have had a Hemi. But the
it had a slant 6 in it, didn't it?
Well, yeah, it had a slant. It ended up being 225, but I think there was a smaller
Whatever,
version
but it had a slant 6.
But originally, Plymouth was going to use the name Falcon for it. And then when they went out to trademark the name Falcon, they figured out Ford owned it. So the first ones didn't even have the name Valiant on them. And they did a company-wide contest to come up with a name, and then they came up with the name Valiant. So the name Valiant didn't show up on that vehicle until 1961. In 1979, legendary Lee Iacocca makes a comeback after getting fired at Ford. He went to work for Chrysler, and to today, everybody looks at Lee Iacocca definitely saved Chrysler through hard-selling advertising, cutbacks, and a government loan guarantee, and ultimately the Chrysler K car, which turned into the minivan.
He saved the Olympics too.
Let's head back down to Woody's before we get too carried away here, shall we?
Well, no, probably not, because they just disconnected from us.
Oh, they did.
So,
Okay. Well,
and again, in
bad for them.
1989, Chrysler sold its 50% interest in Mitsubishi and sold it back to Mitsubishi. Good for them. It was a good one to get away from. And if you look at over history, Chrysler's relationship with different manufacturers has always been kind of intertwined.
Back and forth.
Can I just say this about Mitsubishi? The last Mitsubishi SUV that I had,
one.
I did. I told the fleet handler, don't ever give me another Mitsubishi.
You'd rather have a Suzuki.
Sir, that Mitsubishi was probably one of the worst vehicles I have driven. And it ranks right down there with the smart car.
I think
what
there's
horrible cars.
In relation to the Suzuki, I think there's still a Suzuki service center up in the Dallas market.
That's a good place for it. Yep, right up there in Dallas.
And then in 1974, General Motors announced the Monza, which was supposed to be a rotary-powered car originally. And then when the rotary engine couldn't meet emission standards.
I owned a Monza.
But
a Chevrolet Monza.
Right. Well, this would have been a Chevrolet Monza, but originally was planned to be a rotary-powered car, and then eventually they ended up sticking a gas engine in it. Mars, I see your name. You came back in, and see if we can figure out how to get you back on the air.
Yeah, he was in and out for a minute.
So,
anyway, so you got all that?
GM had worked on a rotary engine as well, and we got Ainsley. We're looking up his nose, so maybe he'll. Oh, here we go.
Okay. So are we back with them now?
We are back with them now. This is a ZZ 454, which is a crate motor from Chevrolet in a 1970 model Chevelle, and what a gorgeous car this is.
Stainless headers.
Yeah.
Stainless headers. He's got outside. It's pretty. It's very factory looking. Those are factory wheels. Looks to be a pure factory interior. Yep.
Well, you can also get aftermarket wheels that look factory.
Yeah. Well, these I think those are probably the 15-inch that are the original style wheels.
That's a gorgeous car.
It's a nice dashboard.
Such a
nice
gorgeous
dash.
car. And vinyl tops. You got to remember back then, vinyl tops.
They were
all
hot,
the rage.
man.
Yeah.
They were all the rage.
Yeah.
I remember.
You know that they actually had the 69, I think it was, Corvette actually had a factory vinyl top on it.
Huh.
It was available as an option. I'll never forget it. Richardson Chevrolet, red car, black vinyl top on the Corvette.
Look at that truck with the surfboard.
Chevy C10 with a matching surfboard on it. Again, these have become quite popular, and if you've got one that's in halfway decent shape, call Lonnie or Todd. I'm sure they can find a buyer that'll give you top dollar for it, because these Chevy C10s of this generation have become extremely popular.
That is a beautiful truck.
396.
Did it say 396? It looked like a small block under the hood. 72 Chevy C10.
Yeah, that's really pretty.
Let's go back to it.
350.
Oh, 350.
Well, you could get a 396 in these back in those days. You could actually even get a 454 in them as well. How pretty is that?
But they were truck engines. They weren't the car engines.
Correct. They
Torquey.
were not the high revving stuff.
Right.
They were very much of a
torquey.
More of a low, because they were designed to do some towing and pulling. A lot of custom work on this thing, but the factory color pattern on the exterior with the blue and the white, and then the matching cooler and stuff in it. And then another C10, this one, again, a small block in it, and a
carbureted small block from 67.
I wonder when the judging is going to take place.
Well, the judging's taking place the whole time, because you as a participant, because I did this last year with my car, that when you sign up, they give you a card to go out and pick a certain number. You don't get to judge everything. Here's your Corvette. And this is a Crossfire injection. So this is a 84 Corvette with the Crossfire. So it's got 2 throttle body injectors on top of the engine, and they were a nightmare.
I was going to say hard to tune, huh?
It was not
hard to tune.
It was not one of Chevrolet's better 82. Excuse me. It was not one of Chevrolet's better.
I wonder if that's Robert's brother, Jimmy Plant.
Could be, or his son.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, we got us a Mini.
Nice.
A Mini Woody.
It's got Mini Wood.
It's Don's car.
Yeah, no.
And it's a right-hand drive
That's
car, and
nice,
that's a airfoil on the roof, not a surfboard.
Yeah,
Don't
right.
misunderstand that for being a
Do
surfboard.
you realize how small that car is? I don't think
you know
most people really don't understand how small that car
But
is.
how big the interior is.
Yeah, the owner's 6'4".
They're really a tiny car. Oh, it's a Traveler because it's the wagon version. It's really a tiny car, but there's actually quite a bit of room inside of them. But I'll tell you, it'd take 3 guys to pick that up and throw it in the back of a pickup
You
truck
could not
and
fit
steal
in
it.
there.
I could fit in a regular Mini, in the current generation Minis.
No, this Mini. You could not fit in there.
Yeah, I could, but I could put both hands outside each window and just kind of pick it up and waddle my way away.
Pretty much, yeah.
But what a gorgeous car.
Nice.
And remember that center dash, that center steering wheel, they have carried that through to this generation, the latest generation Mini. So that's not a custom feature. I think the wood on it is.
David, Mike, you hang on down there. We need to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back.
GTG, BRB, OMW, be there in a few. You may think that these kinds of texts are fine because of their length, and you can easily send them at a stoplight. But no, answering one text can take your attention away from the road for 5 seconds. And traveling at 55 miles an hour, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Make good decisions. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Advance Auto Parts and CarQuest present the Gary Merrill Memorial Pro Modified Race with a purse-busting $7,000 to the winner. Saturday night, September 26th at Houston Motorsports Park. Gates open at 5. The commemorative Air Force flyover and racing at 6. Wear your mask. We've got social distancing and sanitizer. Enjoy dollar hot dogs and dollar beer. Advance tickets online at NASCARHouston.com. Saturday night, September 26th. Gates at 5. Racing at 6. Houston Motorsports Park. The $7,000 Gary Merrill Pro Modified Race. Bring the kids. Texas Truck Works is your go-to truck customizer. From mild to wild lift kits, custom wheels, and steering and handling enhancements to the best personal and commercial wraps, Texas Truck Works delivers. Let Texas Truck Works founder Scott Stevens help you get the most out of your truck or Jeep. Texas Truck Works has decades of customizing experience, including power adders and complete engine swaps. Let the Texas Truck Works team design an upgrade plan that fits your budget. Get truck attitude today at TexasTruckWorks.com.
It's the In Wheel Time Car Show, wrapping things up on this beautiful Saturday in Texas, and we are live today down at Woody's Waterfront Car Show at the Topwater Grill in San Leon, and this will go on for the rest of the afternoon, so invite you to head on down there to see all these beautiful cars and at a great setting. As you can see, that's Galveston Bay right behind it. And there's the Palapa down at the other end. There's the bar down there. The restaurant is off to the right.
Bar.
It's a great place for a car show and a great destination if you want something to eat and you're down in the
very
Galveston
good food
Bay
and excellent Bloody Marys. I think we kind of had a few too many last year.
I wouldn't
we
say
enjoyed
that.
ourselves.
Do we ever have too many?
No, never too many.
Because the Bloody Marys there were
awesome.
Yummy.
Awesome.
Yeah. Just
yummy.
So again, we're getting a chance to kind of look at the crowd that's there, and again, another. Now here's a '67 Mustang. Now, do you know the way to tell the difference between a '67 and a 68?
I know you're going to tell us.
Yes, on a '60. Go back to the Camaro, guys. Go back. I said Mustang. I want the Camaro. So a '67 would have vent windows and no side marker lights. A '68 would not have the vent window and would have side marker lights on it. So if you ever some people will take the vent windows off, which I think is kind of crazy. I like the vent windows. I think those look pretty cool. But custom interior in this with the center console because GM wasn't smart enough back then to put cup holders in the cars.
Nice shifter.
Yep. And, again, gorgeous car, And some of these may have started off as inline 6-cylinder Camaros, and everybody is making, putting their customizations on top of this. And this one says SS on the front. Don't know if it's a true SS. If it is, it'd be a pretty valuable car. But again, the air conditioning, power brakes, small block Chevy. All of the do's.
That's aftermarket air conditioning.
Yeah, it's not GM air conditioning. So beautiful '67 Camaro, and then right next to it, I'm assuming is a 65 or 66 Mustang. And it's not a factory because I don't think they did 302. If it's a 67 or, yeah, 67 or 65, it wouldn't have been a factory 302. It would have been a 289. So a modified car, but very well done, real pretty.
Nice.
Even to the badging, I think makes it look kind of cool. And the white and the red interior is just breathtaking. And that is not. I don't believe that is a Is that factory interior? That looks real nice for a factory interior. It looks like it's upgraded. And then the under the dash air conditioning, which in many instances was installed by the dealer.
Yes.
And it didn't matter whose brand it was. A lot of dealers would add the air conditioning to them that way and just hang it under the dash.
And it wasn't that big of a deal.
No.
And we all did just fine with the under-dash air conditioning.
Because it was just a matter of cooling the interior of the car.
That's all we really cared about, right?
Like.
Yeah. And it didn't look bad.
No. But it was industry standard back then. It was very understood that that's the way most vehicles had air conditioning because factory air wouldn't have been a big part of it. I hear the music.
Yes, and that's it for today's In Wheel Time Car Show. Thanks to Woody's Waterfront Car Show down at Topwater Grill in San Leon for all the great cars today. Thank you for joining us today. Our Chief Engineer, David Ainsley, Video Marketing Mother, Jeff Zekin, along with Conrad DeLong, and I'm Don Armstrong. Glad that you could join us today, and we hope that you will see us again next Saturday, 9:30 a.m. to 12 noon is our show. See you then. Thanks for joining us.